Hey kids, it's time to use the F word. Fuck living, fuck dying, fuck laughing, fuck crying, fuck this song, but mostly fuck you. Fuck love, hate, and friends, fuck following trends, fuck this song, can't wait till it ends. Fuck everything, but fuck you the most. Fuck everyone, but fuck you the most. With a big rusty pole or a splintery post, yeah, fuck you the most. Fuck you. Fuck old school, fuck new school, fuck not cool, fuck too cool, fuck him and ironically lame. Fuck giving advice, fuck trying to be nice, fuck you and you know who you are. Fuck everything, but fuck you the most. Fuck everyone, but fuck you the most. With a big rusty pole or a splintery post, yeah, fuck you the most. Fuck you, 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 fuck you.
Fuck yeah, fuck you!
Fuck you.
Hey, Doc Griffin is here. Doc Griffin, I haven't seen in a while. It's great to see you, Doc Griffin. How you been, man? Doc Griffin, if you didn't know, is one of the, I don't know what you call it, the thrusters in my youth. even though like he really helped me with a lot.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Insomnia Ramble stream. I'm your host, that same Doc Griffin. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. And if you're not, I don't know what to tell you. I have nothing in the bag for you as far as what you need to do to get yourself happy. But here we are. It's late at night. All the kids have gone to bed. So we opened up the show with Real Big Fish doing another FU song. Rolled into one of my favorite bands, Motorhead. No Class. And there's a dedication to that one. You know who you are. But hey, welcome everybody. Glad you could stop by. And yeah, if you don't get what's going on here with the graphic, a while back there was a show, and I don't remember which show it was, but they put they were jokingly talking about people who they believed would be dead soon. You know, us C-D-list YouTube celebrities. I was put on that list, as was Irate Prostate, as was The Killing Joke, as was Harley Quinn's Happy Hour, and of course, Sir Adamantine. So, right now, guess I'm doing okay in the Deadpool. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm still alive. I went ahead and checked my pulse there for just a second. Oh, God. Where to start on this? Well, you heard the quote. So, there's the quote to start off tonight. Now, I'll be honest with you. I have tried to not get into this tangling of asses, so to speak, as my uncle would say. But I have to say, after 3 consecutive streams where I've been shit-talked, I think there really needs to be a response. And the best way I can do it is to present you guys with a little bit of a timeline. Because there's been a creative narrative in the history between The Killing Joke and I. And, hey, he's got his narrative out there, and I have, well, honestly, what actually happened. And there's one major thing that's fuzzy to me. Everything else, it's crystal clear. And a matter of fact, it's more than crystal clear because I went back into the DMs to take a read. And that helped shore up everything. Now, as for that promo, that nice little back patting that Killing Joke did, that happened tonight on his stream. And then a few minutes later, he rolled in to start shit talking. Let's not do the shit talking thing right now. Let's go ahead and roll back. Because it has been assumed by his timeline that I was baby mouth and butt hurt and railing on him and calling him a bad guy and all this shit. Well, there's a mixture of truth and not truth in everything. So here's the timeline. Joke and I met in 2018. Now, here's the fuzzy part. I don't remember specifically where we met, on what stream, or whatever. But I kind of took an immediate liking to him. I thought he was funny. I thought he had a decent shtick. And I thought he could make something. Have some fun in the neighborhood. One of the things that, if any of you all know me, one of the big things that you know is that I do a lot of BTS. If there's somebody that I like, I'll try to introduce them to other people to get them more exposure, make graphics for them. I've even written copy. I've even helped basically stage manage big shows, especially like benefit stuff. And one of my big things is that I'll do this with the acknowledgement that I'm not acknowledged. Because, first and foremost, I want to see people get over. I like to be the guy in the back of the movie theater when that movie that somebody I knew made is running, and you get all the applause and the laughter and the jump scares and whatever it is that your movie's meant for you to do, and me to just sit in the back and smile and say, I feel happy about this. I'm proud that I could help get over. It's nothing to do with, oh, well, I did this for this person, therefore, lick my balls. No, that's not what it's about for me. I've said this more in my real life than anything else. I deal in smiles. That's my currency. And making people happy, getting people over, that is what I'm all about. When I was involved with the independent wrestling circuit, that was one of the things. How can we figure out how to get this guy over? What would be something I can do to help this guy to get over? And so, with that understanding, I did introduce Killing Joke around. Introduced him to Disky for his charity streams. Introduced him to Optic and Broski for what was at the time a very popular Morning Decay. Later on down the line, I even introduced him to Magog for, and then he tried out and got on to SideQuest. I'm not saying that I made him popular or got him the exposure. He did that all by himself once he got onto the shows, but having the opportunity to cross that line is something that I had a hand in. And I'm completely okay with that. I didn't need a back pat. Like I said, I was helping somebody who was a brother at that time get over. And that's all I needed. That was all the payback. So we're talking kind of mid 2018. And for those of you who do know and those of you who don't know, I'm going to say it anyway. Because even if you guys do know, those who don't know don't, so they get the fill-ins. I run a TeePublic store. My TeePublic store is called I Shirt Myself, and I feel fine. And there are quite a few colorful personalities that I'm like, hey, I can make a shirt up for you. I don't care if it sells one. I don't care if it sells none. I think the funny part about it is we get shirts on a TeePublic store. If somebody wants to buy them, that's fine. If somebody doesn't want to buy them, truth be told, half the shirts I make for myself. And so at this point, we had already done like Cadunt shirts and Addy shirts. Who else do we do? I think we'd also done Ichabod Orange shirts. But we did shirts, right? And I talked to Joker in DMs, and I was like, hey, man, what do you think about you doing yourself a shirt? And he's like, oh, that'd be a great idea. I'm like, all right, cool. It'll take a hot second for me to work on it. And so I came up with an idea because he was talking about he wanted something that looked like a bouncer shirt. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm familiar with those. I know what those look like. I have worn one. And so I went ahead and made up a shirt. And the shirt I made up was basically, it's like Joker's Bar or something. Oh, no. Was it the Joker's Tiki Lounge? I forget which one. I haven't looked at the graphic in a while. But you know what? I've got the graphic right here. Let me pull it up. Yeah, it was the Killing Jokes Bar, the Killing Jokes Tiki Bar. And on the back it said staff on it. You know, because that's what a bouncer shirt looks like. And of course, the bar can write it off later. Anyway, I made sure, I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And he's like, we like it, because he showed it to his wife too. And I'm like, cool, color's all right for you, logo's all right for you. He's like, yeah, everything's great. I'm like, all right, cool. So I went ahead, I made the shirt, I put the shirt up. Now here's where my part slacks. Here's where I'm kind of the bad guy. Now, 99% of the time, I will talk to the artists before I use any of their artwork. And they'll give me the yay or nay. If it's a nay, I don't put it up. If it's a yay, it is. So this time, the avatar head that I used for jokes was made by Optic Decay. I didn't even think twice about it, and there was nothing brought up. I didn't ask him if he owned the rights to the artwork or whatever. You know, this is just, you know, a lark shirt. Keep in mind, if I did make any money off of it, it's usually $2 a shirt. So, really, my time and estimate of making a shirt is all for the pleasure and not for the profit. So he said, good. All right. So I went and I put the shirt up. It did sell one shirt, by the way. Jabbers and Stabbers bought the one shirt. They are highly supportive of the people that they like. So that's kind of cool. But the shirt went up. Somebody sent it over to Optic, and Optic was kind of pissed. And Optic and I were still friendly at that point. And apparently, Optic first went at Joker. Like, what the fuck are you doing with my artwork? Blah, 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 this and that. Joker immediately threw up his hands and said, hey, I didn't have anything to do with it. It's all Doc. So you go talk to Doc. So Optic came at me and he was like, what the fuck's going on with the shirt? And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I normally get the permission of the artist before I put the shirt up. I was just kind of lost in the fervor. No big deal. I'm like, you're against it? He's like, yeah, I don't want that up. And I'm like, all right, cool. Immediately, within 2 clicks, well, 3 clicks. 1 to get to the website, 1 to sign in, and then 1 to click on the shirt to deactivate it. So I deactivated it, got it offline. This was like a couple days after I put it up. Like I said, we got 1 sale out of it. And I was like, dude, We got one sale out of it. Do you want me to send you the $2? He's like, no, just if you ever want to use my artwork again, you need to tell me. So, and I'm like, you'll have approval. And there's been precedent for this only one other time. I used artwork from Diddy, who's Blackout's friend, but I had her approval at the beginning. Then a month down the road, she decided that she didn't want it up anymore. Fine, 3 clicks, gone. Design gone. No big deal. Beef was squashed. Here we go getting into it. The Marvel Multiverse. Timelines diverging. So stick with me on this. We went ahead and redid the shirt. I asked Blackout, because Blackout had done Killing Joker head. And I'm like, hey dude, is it okay if I use yours on this t-shirt? Here's what we're doing. And Blackout, being the well-relaxed Norwegian fellow that he is, he said, I don't care. It doesn't make me any difference. Go ahead, go for it. I don't care. And Blackout, of course, is the person, like, if you're looking at this graphic, he made all the dock heads. So anytime I do a thumbnail or anytime you see my avatar appearing anywhere, it's 90% going to be my pal, Blackout. Great guy. Recommend him. Great art. So, like I said, this is where the timeline starts to diverge. The one part, and somebody sent me the video, so I was able to look back through the timeline of why Killing Joker said that we parted as friends. In the actual timeline, one of his good friends at the time was a guy named El Rariachi, Rari for short. And he had a conversation with Rari where he was legit shit-talking me, calling me a con man and a bullshit artist, just really dressing me down. And he and Rari kind of had a split. And Rari started posting, yeah, hey, what about all this shit you've been talking about, Doc Griffin? And it was sent to me. And I read it, and sure enough, he was shitting on me the whole time. I immediately went to joke because I'm not the kind of guy who would, in any circumstances, go with second party shit. So I found it. The DM that Rari had sent me that had the entire conversation in it. So I took that screenshot and I sent it to Joke, and I was like, hey, is this you? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we need to talk then. So in a voice chat, he and I talked, and I don't record my voice chat, so I don't have that. Don't ask. I just think it's kind of low to record chats. I said, hey, listen, you said all this shit, right? He's like, yes, I did. And I said, I only have one question for you. And that is, do you still feel this way? He's like, oh, man, I was just blowing off steam. I was just mad about the situation. I was blowing off steam. And I'm like, all right, cool, forgiven. You know, fool me once, right? So we get past that point. And he's still like the audio clip I played, he's still throwing praise at me for helping him get to where he needs to be and all that shit. 2 weeks later, he goes on to Tonka's stream. And at this point, we were already at Splitsville. Tonka and I. I mean, he used to have me on the show, and he didn't have me on the show anymore because I kind of called him out about him not manning up and doing the whole Knoxville thing. That's neither here nor there. That's a completely different story. But Joke found himself on the show. And he proceeded to shit talk the IRS and call it poo-poo and all this other stuff. But he was essentially shit talking my show, that it wasn't a good show. And somebody clipped that and they sent it to me. And they also sent me the time code so I could go back and get the context. I'm all about the context. Besides, that two or 3 minute clip, I want to know what was said previously and I want to know what was said afterwards. So, I'll follow in a 20-minute gap so I can fill in. Maybe something else was said. Maybe there was some other thing going on. Well, there wasn't. This was straight up basically for clout points with Tonka and the Tonkatards. So straight up gain him more clout. I don't know, maybe gain him more viewers. I got a theory on that for later. But my whole deal was I went to him again. And I said, listen, I got lunch to make here. Here's an audio clip. You take a listen, we'll talk. So I got back to him maybe about a half hour later. And I said, did you have a chance to listen to the clip? Once again, we're in VC. Did you have a chance to listen to the clip? Yeah. And then he automatically went off of me. He's like, where'd you get that clip from? And I was like, I got it from Tonka's show. Well, who sent it to you? And I'm like, that doesn't make a difference. It does not make a goddamn bit of difference who sent it to me. Is the fact that, did you say this? And he said, well, that's not the point. And I was like, no, that is completely the point. Once again, you shit talked me once. And I said, all good. Squashed. Now, you're on a show where somebody is running entire streams shitting on me, and you show up on that stream and you're shitting on me too? What the serious fuck? And he was like, well, it's all about where you got this from, man, because it's stuff like this that drives people off the internet. And I'm like, you are just not listening to me. We have a problem here between you and I. You shit-talked me again. And he started to go in on me again. I was like, no, I don't want to hear it. And then he fucking hung up on me. And so I sent him a nice quick message. Let me see if I can I try not to share around anything unless somebody says, well, you go tell them that I said that. I'm like, you know what? No, this isn't a game of telephone. I will screenshot it and I will send it right to you. I will send it right to that person so there is no miscommunication what you said. That's pretty much the only time that I'll ever do it. And the last thing he typed to me was, see, these are the same fucking people that emailed Occam's Router's wife about Tonka. Now he left the internet. Fuck, and you protect these fucks, man. That's the angle he was trying to work on me. This whole fucking guilt by association thing. I don't believe in that bullshit. So I wrote him back. This is the last thing that was a one-on-one convo. I said, I seem to remember someone talking about guilt by association. Let me think about that for a minute. Oh, wait. That was you in our last conversation where you hung up on me like a fucking child. You seem to have forgotten that I've been there for you even after you shit on me in DMs with Rari. Pull your head out of your ass and we can talk again. That's the last time we've ever talked one-on-one. Not a fan. But I said all I needed to say. I wash my hands of it. Don't need to worry about it. You're done. You're out of my life. I don't have your back on any fucking thing that you decide to do. You go do your thing. I'm going to go do my thing. Now, how the timeline differs, because in the Killing Joker timeline, I was the one who came and bitched him out for turning me into Optic, that I was the one who was money grubbing. And yeah, I money grubbed like, what, a whole $2. Ugh. And then he was saying that I was bitching and whining about things. And that he came on to my stream before he went on to Tonka's stream and tried to be the arbiter of peace. Like, hey, don't do this. You know, I don't want to see you, you know, mess yourself up, blah, 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 this and that. And I'm like, holy fuck. I mean, you did come on to a stream like a week before or something and say, oh, this is stupid. That's fine. You can say that. But then you completely forget any of the stuff from the real timeline. Your divergent timeline forgets the fact that Optic and I squashed the beef. That there was no problem. That you had creative control in your shirt. When you said, oh, I didn't care what Doc was doing. I didn't even bother with it. When both you and your wife, and get well, Annie. You and your wife saw it, approved it, and then it got put up. You took a little heat from Optic and automatically, man, you folded like a house of cards. You're like, I didn't have anything to do with it. Go ahead and, bitch out Doc. And Doc had a conversation. Like I said, we got it squashed. No big fucking deal. 3 clicks, issue resolved. No big deal. And, you failed to mention that you also walked on because you were talking about how, stop being an asshole and you're betraying me and you're being such a dick. Apparently this is what I said in the alternate timeline. When what it was you went on and shit-talked me on a stream that was already adversarial towards me. Now, I haven't read the Friendship Handbook in a long, long time, but I'm pretty sure that there's nothing in there for a friend to go on to a stream which had been chronically shit-talking me and shit-talk me. How the hell does that work out? I wonder. So, unfortunately, for the past 3 Killing Joker streams, he's been shit-talking me. Now, I'm not the only one that he was shit-talking, because once again, they do this guilt by association thing. Just because I talk to other people, and I talk to a wide spectrum of this autistic fucking community. And you guys got to admit, all of you are pretty fucking autistic in some way. We are nobody's moral center. We are not the gravity which keeps things sticking to earth. We're just people with our own opinions, and sometimes they're fucking stupid opinions, and other times they can make sense. And I don't believe in guilt by association. I'm going to talk to whoever I fucking want to talk to. Whether it's, Turish, or Addy, or Trippy, or Merc, or Aiden, or Toya, or Ghost Dog, or Vlad, or Medic or Fembot. I don't give a shit. You talk to the people you want to talk to. I'm an adult. I have my big boy adult pants on, and I'm going to talk to whomever I want. You can suck it. You can't tell me just because I like having laughs with one person that, oh, they're so bad. Ooh. And this bullshit with, oh, you're a doxer or you're a doxer. It's like, oh my fucking God. Get over it. I think Mr. Mediker said it best when he said there is a difference between doxing and life ruination. With that theory in mind, that's the reason why I had the 2 warring parties at the time get together on the IRS and try to hash it out. And they talked. There was yelling going on, but they did talk, and they agreed, for the most part, cessation of hostilities. Great, good. My whole thing is, if there's a fire in the neighborhood, I would be happier being part of the bucket brigade to put out the fire than just pouring gasoline all over it. So yeah, I did that kind of thing. And they were like, oh, well, you're aligning yourself with one side. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm not aligning myself with anybody. I'm not saying I am the absolute neutral center of this neighborhood, because I'm not. I don't think anybody is. But I did want these 2 sides to actually have a chance to get together and talk. And talk it out and stop shitting on each other and stop escalating this. Because, I mean, it got to the point where they were going into life ruination. If you said somebody's name that was publicly available before, and is available in public records, yeah, that's a dox. But when you start revealing their IRL profession, and you set it up to where if there is some retard out there who wants to take this information and use it, they could wage a war for life ruination. They could legitimately cost somebody their livelihood. And that's where the bullshit came in. And once I learned about that, that was my other reason to go, hey, wait. We need to get this stopped. This is stupid. And if one side's going to escalate, then who's to say the other side won't be childish enough to escalate? To keep it going and keep it going until somebody is irreparably harmed in the IRL. This is fucking fantasy land, people. YouTube. Fantasy land. It does not exist, nor should it have an impact on IRL. At all. I've had people a handful of times talking about, oh, well, we've got your real name. And I'm like, yeah, so what? You gonna dox me? Yeah, so what? Don't give a fuck. You know, mom and dad are dead. And I'm pretty sure that my wife at the time could have kicked their asses if she were so inclined. My brother is always armed. And my sister has a cowboy lawyer gourmet husband that works for a Fortune 5 company. Yeah, no zeros, 5. So he could probably litigate your ass into the fucking ground. Go for it. You can attack me head on. But you know what? When you're going for life ruination, you've got to be ready to take whatever backlash is coming. So, sorry. Off the beaten path a little bit here. And here's the thing. I never spoke publicly about what happened between the Killing Joke and I until now. Because honestly, I didn't think it was anybody's fucking business. But apparently he needed a response. He had to have me say something about this. Or else he wouldn't have attempted to shit on me for 3 streams in a row. And they were talking some shit about how because Irate was so stressed out, that's what caused his death. And that I was a part of stressing him out. Irate and I talked until, what was it, maybe a week? Maybe a week or 2 before he died. And yeah, we were breaking each other's balls in the DMs. And we ended kind of on unfriendly terms, but that's no reason for me to be disrespectful to the dead. You're dead. Why continue anything on? There is no beef. It's over. It's done. There's no victory in this side, but there's one less side. So fuck it. Bury it. It's done. And like I've said, I've always disrespected people who have dragged out their physical ailments ad nauseum and then talk about donations. Or people who drag out the corpse of a supposed friend. And are doing it not necessarily for donations. Perhaps just for clout. And that's even worse. I don't like it. And I don't do it. Now, last year was a really bad year for me. But people are like, well, what's going on? And I thought it was kind of fun to talk about what was happening with my foot. Like they were going to, chop my fucking foot off. But straight up, not one single time did I ever ask for a dono. I was telling it like analogies for my life of what was going on. People were curious. They were also curious to see it. That's why I was throwing up the gross pictures for my no context tweets. And by the way, in case you guys are curious, yes, everything's fine with it. Go to the doctor for the last time. He's already signed off on it, but he wants to see me one more time because, you know, you can milk the insurance company and get that shit. So, there's a really big difference, and it sickens me when people pull out this shit to gain simpies or to gain clout. And yeah, most of my IRL is me, and it belongs to me, and it does not belong to anybody else. And I'm not going to share it with you yahoos. But the foot was a fun story, and I got great stories from it, from my experience, and it would be hard to tell the story without knowing what the foundation is. So, yeah, I told the foot story. And there's other shit that I hadn't talked about, which way more severe. But who fucking cares? It's nothing that concerns anybody at that point. If you're quote unquote building your brand, don't build it off the ashes of somebody else. And if you're really serious about making YouTube a go, which honestly is a fucking joke, because once the adpocalypse hit and then the voxpocalypse hit, you're fucked. There's no conceivable way to make a decent 9-to-5 job living off of this. It's just not going to happen for you. So, pack those bags, sunshine. But here's the thing. There are people around still fishing off donos, thinking that they're going to become the next big thing, and the next big thing just does not happen. Straighten up, fly right. And joke, this is just from me to you, because I'm not leaving the stream down. I'm not playing DMCA strikeable music or anything. I'm leaving this up for you. Stop fucking drinking. Or at least save your fucking Captain Morgans for your off-stream time. In the clips that I've seen in the past 3 days, the drunkenness is pathetic. You're slurring. You're mispronouncing words. Your eyes are rolling in your head. You're fucking sweating. Stop drinking. You look like shit. If you really want to have fun with this, if that's the only way that you can have fun, then you sure as shit ain't the person that I met 4 years ago. Straighten up. Fucking fly right. If you were doing this kind of trash, IRL, nobody'd have you. You couldn't hold a job. Nobody want to listen to you. Play all the music you fucking want. You can't stay straight for a 2-hour show? Now, because of the foot thing, I haven't had a drink in, about 10 months. Trust you me, I'll be getting back to it. I have no hesitation. I will get back to it. But the thing about it is, you know, I'm not wearing eyeliner and weeping online for somebody who's gone. Cut the shit. Nobody likes a sloppy, sad drunk. Me, I'm a lively drunk. I have a lot of fun. Unless I get really, really pissed off at some certain people. Like the last stream that I was drunk on. And I just would not have having it. And I lit into them. And I'm not going to lie, it was a lot of fun. It was a real fucking good time. When I get sloppy drunk, I just automatically hit the fucking floor. Or I'm like, I'm drunk. I'm leaving. Bye. Have control of your faculties, dude. Because that divergent timeline that you're trying to show, it ain't gonna fucking work. And you know what? I get as many people as you get in the day listening. I'm not going to say it's for my warm and cheery personality. I have made a pledge that anybody listening, I will try to put them to sleep if they are not already sleeping. I have some people who fall asleep to this stream, and you know what? It's completely all right with me. That's the purpose of the Insomnia Ramble stream, to break insomnia. We have a little fun. We talk a little shit. But I'll just say this, and then we can go to the bar. Just reevaluate your damn self. You got a woman who really needs you right now. And you think if you land shit-faced drunk and passed out, you're going to be able to help her if she goes into crisis? Yeah, I'm being moral arbiter here at this point. I cannot imagine if I was still married that I would have gotten myself so out of sorts if my wife was in the throes of needing critical care. You take care of her. She's good people. And I think that's all I got to say for that. So, hey, okay, there it is, guys. There is the story of the multiverse and the divergent timelines. So let me say some good mornings to people, and then we'll get the bar open. How's that sound? Sound good? Better sound good. And you fuckers, if you want, you can jump into the waiting room. Those of you who have already been scrubbed up, come drop by the desk. So, with that in mind, good morning, Medicare Fembot. Good morning, Gilded Pooh. Good morning, Turish. Good morning, Bear Dog. Good morning, Nobody Huno. Good morning, Willie Cogley. Good morning, Victor Rand. Good morning, Lexi Mads. I'm scrolling. Stay with me here. Good morning, Sir Adamantine. I would have done it in writing, but I was on the soapbox. Good morning, W.R. Colston. Still scrolling. Still fucking scrolling. God damn, you motherfuckers talk a lot. That's what I get for not automatically going to the bar. Good morning, Ms. E, and have a wrench. I'm looking. Try not to miss anybody. Good morning, Tafkaday. I think that might be the last. Who knows? Yes. I did not miss anybody. That's because I just scrolled down and read everybody. So hey, the bar's open. Anybody who would like to stop in certainly can do so. Good morning, Vlad.
Morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And
Okay.
Let me drag in. Good morning, Willie. Oh, wait. He might have passed out by now. Come on, Willie. You're here. What's the old thing? I'm here, I'm queer. Deal with it.
I guess so.
Uh,
Maybe he's having mobile problems.
Let's see. Yeah, because I know there's some fuckery going on with the patient's designation. So I'll give it one more shot. Let me try to drag him in. All right, Willie, can you hear me? Willie, can you hear me? No. By the way, anybody who is in the chat, I know you guys know where the door is at. So, why don't you come stop by? I'm sure there are some people who have some opinions about what the fuck is going on.
Why did she say, okay, don't say rest in peace, Ukraine, unless they actually finally got wiped the fuck out. Sorry, I was talking to Medicare, Finbot.
Oh yeah, I was watching Putin's speech where he said, "Oh yeah, we'll be happy to talk to him," but he also said, like, one of the last lines was like, "Yeah, because all the drug dealers and scumbags and undesirables fled to Kiev." And I'm like, God damn, double down. You go bust some balls.
A whole lot of issue with Putin, really.
Honestly,
I mean,
he's the aggressor. We don't have any business interceding, and even NATO's just like, we're going to shore up our borders.
Well,
it's like, well, they're not going to be stupid enough to attack any NATO forces unless we try to become moral arbiters and jump in.
well, he's not the aggressor, though.
Well,
Ukraine started it.
well,
So-
I know we have talked about this offline, but if you would like to go ahead and share that with the people who are in the audience.
Okay, sure. Excluding a lot of, like, serious backstory and history that would bore everybody to death, right? If you look at just from 2014 all the way to 2022, you'll find a lovely pattern. So in 2014, there were some people, some separatists that were pro-Russian. They didn't want to join the EU, and they didn't want to join NATO. And so there was a little tiff that was going on, and so Russia comes in and does its fucking thing. If anybody remembers Obama era during the whole Ukraine incident, whatever. Anyway, so they came to the agreement of the what's called the Minsk Accord. So it was the MINSK,
Minsk.
whatever. Yeah, Slavish bullshit. Anyway, so that was essentially a ceasefire along with the list of a whole bunch of other shit. So what they ended up doing was, like, the Ukrainians were like, well, fuck that. And then they end up doing the Minsk Accord 2, and then they broke that as well recently. And so this is the second or third time that the Ukrainian government has completely violated an agreement.
Well,
And-
now, slow down. Cite
Russia.
Cite the example of how they broke the agreement, though.
Oh, well, this last time they killed like 14,000 fucking separatists.
There you
And
go.
one of the leaders of that actually straight up said, and quote, we need, which I admittedly is a little based, I'm not going to lie, but he said, to paraphrase, we're going to kill every pro-Russian and Russian person in Ukraine. So essentially their goal was straight up to just flat out kill all the separatists. And they did kill an awful lot of them way before Putin decided to step in. And the worst thing Putin really did out of all of this, besides that, was just let it happen for a while. Because this didn't just happen all at once. Like, he just let it happen for a long time. I'm not quite sure how long. But also, more than that, this is, as I said, like, this is all Ukraine's fault. All they had to do was not shoot at the separatists. Oh, did I mention that the Turkish military and some U.S. armaments were a part of that whole incident that killed 14,000 separatists? Like, NATO actually gave arms to these people who are actual neo-Nazis, by the way. Like a large portion of the people that were attacking these separatists are legitimate, actual, not just lefty SJW shit, like actual neo-Nazis. Okay, so
Okay, wait a minute. What do you mean by neo-Nazi?
oh, basically a person role playing as a Nazi. That they got swastika tattoos. They were going around killing ethnic Russians on the basis of ethnicity, right? So like their entire concept was legitimately genociding the separatists, right? But the other cool part about all of that was that this was so bad that the United States quit giving them money because they had to acknowledge that they were doing this. And that was one of the reasons the U.S. for a long time kept or quit giving them money. Like all this shit is just, you can just look it up, right? And it's ironic that the left is okay with supporting those Ukrainians that are actual neo-Nazis, because BuzzFeed did an entire article, their favorite news source, did an entire article talking about how they were neo-Nazis and how they were incorporated into the Ukrainian National Guard.
Okay.
And and the other reason, and when I say neo-Nazis, I want to point out something else too. Their flag that they used, the Azov flag, was actually the Panzer tank division symbol. It's okay.
Okay. Willie, can you hear us now? Apparently not. I don't know if Turish is still around. I think there might be some problem with the patience level.
Oh, it's Signia. That's right. Thanks, Lexi.
Do you have a picture of that?
Of the Azov flag?
Yeah.
Or insignia? Hold on. Azov.
Let's see.
I'm sending it now. If it'll, I don't know. It's saved in some weird format. I fucking hate that so much. What the hell is AV1? I've never even heard of that format before.
AVI?
No, it's AV1.
Weird.
AVI is for video. This is like a picture format, which makes no sense. Okay, there's JPEG. That's at least recognizable.
Wait, here. If I put it in the general, is this the one you're talking about?
It was slightly more slanted than that, but more or less. I posted it right beneath that. Infallible Foul left my server. Wow.
You should be sad.
Dude, a lot of people are pissed off over my take on Russia-Ukraine. And bear in mind, like, a Wolfsangle, whatever. I was pretty sure I said it was... where did I... Whatever, okay. Wasn't that used in the German Hold on.
Yeah, I think, Vlad, I think more people need to shit talk you.
Why?
Because my turn's done, apparently. Or no, wait a minute. This might have sparked some more fun in the sun. Who knows?
Whatever. The point is that apparently there was a ton of like fucking different Panzer Division fucking yeah, actually there's one of them. Yeah, there's a shit ton of different Panzer Division fucking insignias. And one of them happened to be what Bear Dog said. So my try hard trolling.
Yeah,
How am I a bigot? What? Okay. I think he's confusing me with fucking Sabine.
wait a minute. I don't even know if Infallible Foul's still in the server anymore. Yeah, Infallible Foul, you're in the server. If you want to stop in, you certainly can. If there's nothing else, it's all about being able to talk, get your point of view across. Good morning, Sixers Tales, and good morning, Infallible Foul. And by the way, we do know, before we go into any of this, the difference between racists and bigots, right?
Probably not.
Okay, a bigot is just somebody, there's no color assigned to it. I don't care if they're going to try to change the dictionary or not, but a bigot is somebody who believes that they are intellectually superior.
Okay.
Race, it don't fall into it. Now, technically, I guess some
Never
people
heard that
can
before.
think that because they have a certain skin tone that they are superior to another, but bigotry was set up as not a racial argument, but as an intellectual argument. Initially,
Yeah.
I know they're going to change it around because I'm a bigot, but I'm a bigot on a case-by-case basis. If there's somebody that I talk to for, more than 5 minutes and it just feels like blah, 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 coming out of their mouth, yeah, I'm bigoted. I don't want to fucking talk to them anymore because they're fucking idiots.
But one thing I was going to say real quick is this is actually the part where everybody completely misunderstands. I don't give a shit that there's Nazis in the Ukraine, whatever the fuck, military. I don't give a shit if there's Nazis. I don't really care if fucking Putin is the second coming of fucking Hitler himself. That isn't the point. The point that I'm making is that it's interestingly ironic that the same people that whine about Nazis all day long are the same people supporting literal neo-Nazis. And also supporting and just ignoring the fact that said neo-Nazis were trying to ethnically cleanse Ukraine. And we're supposed to be, what, defending them?
Well, we had that problem back in the early 90s with Bosnia.
Mm-hmm.
There was ethnic cleansing going on there, and, they set up a peace accord which actually divided them into two countries, Bosnia and Herzegovina. So that's the one I remember back to, because, yeah, they were definitely doing some ethnic cleansing.
But yeah, I guess I'm being called racist because that's what I think he meant by that, by the way.
Oh. Well, I mean, Nazis were racist.
I mean, to be fair, he also accused me of watching, what was that? What was the name of that Netflix movie that everybody bitched about that had the kids in it?
Oh, Cuties?
Yeah, he accused me of watching that, which was weird. It seems that a lot of people on the internet just make up shit in their head, and if they tell themselves that shit enough, they believe that it's true.
Well, the one problem that I have with the interwebs, and this is why I call it Fantasyland, nobody bothers to do any type of due diligence. It's like when you go to buy a car, I would think the majority of the people wouldn't go, ooh, that's a blue car, I want it. You'd be like, okay, I'm going to be spending a lot of hard-earned money. So I'm going to need to do some research. Well, you know what? If you want to sound smart, if you want to do right, go do your due diligence. I honestly, and we had this discussion, BTS. I'm like, I really couldn't give a shit either because it doesn't affect us in any way. We don't have any alliances with these people. We don't have any treaties with these people. So why do we need to stick our heads in unless, we really need to start some war and bump the economy up? Because that's all it's going to do for us. It's going to kill our military that shouldn't be there in the first place, and it's going to give profiteers a hard on for years. Because everybody's like, oh well, there's nukes and blah blah blah, and it's like, no, nukes are not going to happen. It's going to be conventional ground war. I think the first country to ever use a nuke is going to be a very small country that got their hands on a nuke, some surplus, and decides to swing their dick and drop the bomb. And the minute that they do that, their country will cease to exist because they will wipe. Because the rest of the world will get together and wipe you the fuck out, just like they did to Austria-Hungary in World War One. They didn't like
Oh
them.
yeah,
They wiped them out.
there were some other tiny points that I wanted to bring up about the Ukraine-Russia thing. I want to make very clear, this isn't mean that I'm saying that Putin is completely blameless and innocent and has zero ulterior motive, because I know people on the internet like to go from zero to opposite extreme, No, like, he definitely has ulterior motives. Several of them. One is relatively rational, in so much as NATO is encroaching further onto his territory, and that him doing, or sorry, us, NATO, doing that is a direct violation of an agreement we had with Russia after the wall fell in Germany, right?
No.
So so it's not one of these things where that is like some out of the realm of rationality. Like, of course he should be bothered by that. If positions were reversed, we would freak out too. Oh wait, that did happen with the whole Cuba crisis. Didn't we do exactly the same thing? Aside from invading Cuba, like, we threw an absolute fit, and we're like, oh my god, the fucking USSR is going into Cuba. Okay, whatever. On the other side of the coin, however, Ukraine and Russia have a very interesting history. So the idea that Putin doesn't want Ukraine to rejoin the empire of old would be insane. Of course he does. Like, why the fuck wouldn't he? Or why would he not? Makes perfect sense to me. So it's one of those things where, do I think that's a good thing? Not necessarily, but I also don't necessarily care all that much, because Ukraine gave him the excuse. So perfectly, they didn't follow their end of the deal. All they had to do was not kill separatists. That's it. That's all they had to do, and they didn't do it. So
I'm sorry. I'm looking to see. I'm a little trapped on permissions. On the patients, and I'm thinking that's probably where the shit is happening.
what?
Where they're not able to get into a VC. Because it seems to me it's always happening with the patients. So there must be an inherent permission that is not allowing that to happen. No, allows members to join voice channels and hear others. Allows them to speak. They can share video. What?
I just want to point out, though, how it's really hilarious that we can bomb Syria or whoever the fuck because they're gassing their people, but Russia can't fucking invade a country because they're bombing members of their people. Like, it's just a weird double standard. And that's the part that really bothers me. And bear in mind, like, I think ultimately we should intervene. Ultimately, we should defend Ukraine. I'm not saying we shouldn't.
By the way, Addy is saying in the chat that
I read what he said.
Okay, mostly right,
But
wrong reasons.
yeah, basically what I think Addy is wanting me to say is that is essentially Putin feels he can get away with this because our president is weak and
Oh.
our country doesn't really bite.
By the way, good morning to Nick Curse in the chat. I really do think that if Trump would be in office, that he would be a little more hesitant. But I think Biden is like rolling out the red carpet. Do whatever the fuck you want. And then there are people going, well, okay, Joe, here's your warm milk. Go take a nap. I think he's going to be one of the most chided and derided presidents in presidential history once everything's said and done. But then again, got to get 20 years down the road. So I won't be alive then. Some of you will be, and you'll be like, well, shit. Remember that dumbass on the YouTube stream going late night? He was fucking right. Because, yeah. The only thing that I've heard a lot of talk about is, well, you know, if they're going to let Putin invade China, or excuse me, if they're going to let Putin invade, because I'm thinking ahead of myself here, the Ukraine, that they're going to let Ping invade Taiwan and nobody's going to stop them. I think they're going to be wrong about that because they're going to have some type of moral justification. Or at least try. And good morning. Welcome, Stradamanti.
Hi, Doc. I'm glad.
Oh.
I just wanted to stop by really quickly because the spam frying is about to start. But and that's exactly what it sounds like, by the way. Breakfast spam. But yeah, the whole Russian-Ukraine situation is very simple. The Ukraine was in Russia's sphere of influence before the United States existed. It might be legal to like stand in front of someone's door as long as you're not on their property. That doesn't mean that you're provoking things. And if Russia made a deal with Mexico to build a military base in Mexico, I don't think the U.S. would let that stand. Same difference applies. It's just opposite roles in that case.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
I said I mostly agreed with you.
With the Cuba thing, yeah.
Well, where's which part do you disagree with? I must have missed
Well,
it.
your whole like let's give Russian history lessons. Fuck that! It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that one fact. It's the U.S. overstepping what they should get away with by trying to insinuate NATO should be on Russia's borders. That's a pure provocation. That's
the bottom line, sure.
Are you sure? I'm not sure. But do you guys think this is a stepping stone for China to try to make a move on Taiwan?
Oh, if I was China and I wanted to try to take over Taiwan, this would be perfect. And like I think I told you in previous conversations, it wouldn't just be this. It would be both Russia and China encouraging Pakistan to start shit with India, Iran to start shit with either Israel or Saudi Arabia, and North Korea to start shit with South Korea. If you do it all at the same time, even a military as large as ours can't deal with all of those fires at the same time.
Yeah, but should we though? I mean, if it's, there are 6 different incursions going on. Do we just cherry pick which one that we want to do?
In that whole scenario, the only countries the U.S. would most readily defend would be Taiwan and Israel. Although I don't think Israel would need it.
Yeah, because military service starts at age 5.
The Arab people, which would apply to they're Persian, but same difference. They don't have a great history of war against Israel, so have at it, I guess.
Well, I was just recently watching a video of the rise and fall of H3H3. I didn't know
Yeah.
Ethan Klein's wife was that he met her and she was in the military doing her term of service.
Oh, I would have guessed he met her at a horse track, if you get the joke.
Oh, well, I don't know. She did look better in the military uniform.
Well, she never looked what would be called good.
Better, not, yeah. No, I can't disagree. That's not
But then again,
that's not my type.
Then again, he's not a super catch himself, so.
Wait a minute. Didn't Trump drop a Moab in Syria?
Yeah, on an airport, yes.
Yeah.
Which is what, like, apparently when I said Obama, that was completely missed because I wasn't talking about what Trump did in recent history. I was talking about what Obama did, and he launched multiple airstrikes on Syria, and it wasn't just planes at an airport.
Yeah, didn't he try to take them out by dropping huge pallets of cash on them?
Well, anyway, Doc, like I said, I'm off to make spam. I'll be listening in the background and might come back on after breakfast. But I would strongly encourage Vlad in the meantime to discuss rods from God.
Oh, actually, that is kind of cool though.
I really shouldn't because it would sound too bigoted.
Well, as long as they're not white rods.
Right?
You know what? I'm even gonna no context tweet a picture of the rods from God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can understand why they're not a thing. That would have probably had some seriously bad results, like to the Earth. I think that was why they didn't do it, if I remember correctly, was because it could cause like instability, earthquakes and shit.
Yeah, I mean something hitting that hard and that fast would definitively be able to crack the crust. And
Yeah, it was basically just man-made fucking meteors.
Yeah. But for those who don't know what we're talking about, well, I would say in the 80s, Reagan tried to get the Star Wars initiative started, which was platforms that orbited the globe, and they had high-powered lasers on them that they could pinpoint, shoot and kill with the lasers. Kind of like if you've ever seen the Val Kilmer movie Real Genius. That's basically what they based their premise on. Well, this one is something completely different. What it is they wanted to pack a space platform, but they wanted to pack it with tungsten rods. And tungsten basically is very much a big heat absorber. So if they shot these things down from orbit, it would have to re-enter all the atmospheres, and that would build up a shit ton of heat. And then when it actually hit the target, it would hit almost like a nuclear missile. And no nuke, no fallout. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about cracking the transcontinental shelf. What the fuck are you? I'm sorry, somebody's sending me a message. Okay, well then. There we go. Got that out of the way.
Anything important?
Apparently I'm pregnant, but we don't know who the father is.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know. Eventually. So, yeah, I guess I did a little drama to start off. But it felt good. I won't lie. It felt good because I haven't talked about this shit for what, almost 4 years now? I needed to get that off my chest. And whatever is going on Der Twatters, I don't want to know. I know there are monkeys flinging poo left and right. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I understand what's going on, but nah. I don't want to have anything to do with it. That's why I'm not posting jack shit. I'm not liking any tweets because, I mean, granted, there is some fun shit going on, or funny shit, but that's very few and far between. I don't care who does what. Should I? No. Just, this is a whole thing. It's one of those. It's one of those one-on-one kind of deals. And, I mean, if everybody else wants to go shit talk everybody else, fine. It's the internet. Go ahead. Don't care. But if somebody immediately shit talks me and does it for a prolonged period of time, wouldn't you think there'd need to be a response?
Well, so the interesting thing about that whole story, however, was it was actually pretty tame. Like, what I mean by that is that I don't know, I expected like something more dramatic. And you know, like I don't know, I guess not. Like as far as cause to do the shit talking, you know.
Dude, and that's why his Divergent timeline is much more entertaining than mine, because it's boring. Somebody got butt hurt, and it just snowballed from there.
The internet is the place where I put on my robe and wizard hat.
And good morning, Turish.
Morning, Doc. Morning, Vlad.
Morning.
Yeah, I am befuddled and amazed that somebody, once again, even much more briefly than our former semi-Native American trailer park Indian was doing it, because I mean there was like hours long streams about me shitting on me, and just for him to dip in and just, you know, piss on my leg for a little bit and then run away. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? And I honestly, I did laugh my ass off because I had a wrench in his chat, and when I came in and shit talking continued, even though there was some ball licking going on at the start there. Like, I played that clip to start off the show tonight. But I don't know. As soon as he turned, I guess, mean drunk, I got de-wrenched, and then his mods were timing me out. They were moral fagging for him. And so I'm like, yeah, you know, you might want to know the story. You might want to listen to what the actual timeline that you're living in, how everything actually happened.
So, effort.
Yeah. I mean, it took almost an hour, but goddamn, It's over with. If somebody wants to come back and listen to it, fine. If somebody wants to go and try to pick it apart, fine. Don't give a shit. I basically walked away from this years ago, and they keep trying to drag me back in. So here, there is. If you want to call it my side, you can call it my side. Said, done, gone. I don't want to have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, wrapped up in a nice little package, I guess.
Yeah, I even put a bow on it. And I even put some concern on it. Like I said, stop fucking drinking. Stop getting liquored up. If not for yourself, then, you know, for your woman who, and this is not any doxing at all, has brain cancer. I think I'd want to be at 100%, or at least the closest to 100% I could get. If I had somebody who had that type of affliction, I mean, holy fuck! My ex-wife Nursey had fibromyalgia, and she had times where she just literally had like muscle knots the size of a fist, and she could barely move. And there was not a single time in our 12-year relationship where I wasn't lucid and available enough for her to be able, you know, to put the Tiger Balm on and get the knot massaged out. I mean, I was a naughty boy.
Ah.
See, there's, you know.
Oh man. One of my oh wait, it might still be blocked. We'll see. But apparently it seems, whether on accident or on purpose, one of my videos was unblocked.
Which one?
That says copyright claim in dispute. Oh, it was the part 2 of that thingamajig of the everything's gonna be all white.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've got it queued up, but I don't know if I could last 4 episodes.
It's technically 3.
I thought it was 4.
No, the 4th one is kind of like some weird bonus thing.
Oh. I don't know. 3 would still be stretching it for me. Just the amount of blatant racism in it. And people are like, well, black people can't be racist. Oh, the fuck they can. They certainly can. I've mentioned it more than once. I spent my formative years in the Northcrest Gardens projects, which was, yeah, I'd say probably about 75% black, about 15% Puerto Rican, about 9% white, and 1% outlaw biker gang. And racism is something that I had to deal with every day, because there'd be somebody popping off that was of a different color to a black person. I remember there was one kid who broke his foot, and he thought he could get away with calling somebody a nigger. And once we got off the bus, he got his ass beat. I mean, even beat with his own fucking crutches.
Good.
And everyone after that, of any color that wasn't dark melanin, including the Puerto Ricans. The Puerto Ricans shut the fuck up unless they were dealing with white people. Then they'd shit on us. So we were the lowest on the food chain there. But since, you know, the Outlaws MC, the guy who ran the MC, lived down there because it was cheap housing and the cops never really came down there, they kind of left some of us alone because of the fact that, for lack of a better word, we had affiliation. So, the kids, the black kids would not try to throw beatings on the white kids who knew the biker boys. But that didn't necessarily mean that they couldn't get away with it some other place. Honestly, I was prepared for a race riot to break out between the Puerto Ricans and the and the blacks, because there was so much animosity. But you know what? There were more black people shooting black people, and this was back in the 70s, guys. So when people say that didn't happen, yeah, it did. Just not in a broader scope as it does now, because guns are definitely more readily available.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that doesn't mean I'm all about limiting guns. Fuck it. If somebody wants to buy a gun illegally, how are you going to stop them? And if somebody's going to take that illegal gun and shoot another gang member and kill them, regardless of what color, too bad. Darwin works again. You got to understand that it's not the color, but the class of person. And if they are classless pieces of shit who think that they need to rob and kill and rape and steal, then yeah, you know what? Maybe a 9mm injection is what they need. Did I silence everybody by that?
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to type a second rebuttal real quick, so to a copyright claim.
Oh. Make sure, like I said, the easiest way to get one of those DMCAs taken off is just fill up that entire fucking window. Because most of the time, they just don't want to read it. And they'll be like, oh, fuck, this is too much effort. Lifted.
Oh, I'm not gonna sit here and write 2,000 characters. Fuck.
Go for it.
I'll be here all fucking night. Like my whole like honestly, they're already on Rumble, so I don't really care all that much. It's not like it ceases to exist.
By the
I mean,
way,
it kind of.
By the way, what do you think of the Rumble platform?
I made 7 cents.
Woohoo!
Yeah. But it's not bad. It's just I probably should have got on there early. But I didn't.
Well, I mean, still, it's burgeoning.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a bad place to be, because I know, people used to say, oh yeah, for the rights and the conservatives, you have to go to Parler. And it's like, well, Parler doesn't. It's like a shitty Twitter.
Actually, Parler was great at first, and then when it got taken down, it just killed it. Right? Like I don't get like all the interactions that I was getting at first died. Right? Like I was getting a ton of interactions, a lot of people seeing my parlays and shit,
Yeah,
and then
fresh data
soon,
sets.
huh?
Fresh data sets, new information. New information. Usually your first stuff to get around.
Well, yeah, and then as soon as they killed that, it got removed off of Google, or not Google, sorry, Amazon, the web hosting.
Oh, dude.
Instantly killed it.
Only thing that I'm getting, because I'm still getting emails from Parler, is like where to buy your CBD products, or hey, this helped me with my baldness, or yes, you can lose weight. It's literally just ads. They're bombing me with fucking ads. So I turned them into spam, and bye-bye. If I want to get on Parler, I've got it bookmarked. But I don't want to have anything to do with them now. You might be taking the wrong thing if your aspirin tastes like butthole. I'm just saying. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, this is day 4 for Tie Man holding the in the Gender Championship of the World. So yeah, day 4. He's almost to the halfway point. So, if we finish up, that's good. That's how our boss battles work, guys. That's how the Streamlab works. Not expecting to receive any money, but, See, I was going to be really mean at this point and just, take a drink and start crying about things that I have no control over. How sad life is. Because, guys, if you're still breathing, life really isn't that bad. You can take this from a motherfucker who was laid up in a bed, legitimately, for over 3 months. And then had to run around on a goddamn knee scooter for a few more months. Life is not that bad as long as you are breathing. Find joy.
Yes, this is.
What?
Oh,
You-
sorry.
You roboted.
You turned into Vladbot. Gone. And now back. What were you
Can you-
saying, Vlad?
Oh, I just said sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, not at all. I think it's. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I'm almost on some type of psychotic campaign against the internet because it plays too important a role in everybody's lives now. I mean, good God. It would be sheer anarchy if, let's say, internationally, the internet went down for a week. There would be rioting in the streets. But then again, nobody would really know because how could you do a news report? Because regular old-fashioned television doesn't exist anymore. Everybody's either looking at it on their phones. Oh, God.
The broadcast boxes are digital.
Are they?
Yes.
Wouldn't that detrimentally affect, though, as well?
Yes. Yeah. So if they don't have internet, all of their items are connected in whatever studio they're in. Therefore, you can't really make anything work. You can't put anything out to transponder or whatever.
Well,
That sends out the signal.
technically, old landlines still work, but nobody uses them anymore.
No, old landlines still work. My type of shutting down the internet will, in effect, take out the old landlines too, on a technical level.
No. That's not a good thing. No, we better learn to do smoke signals or Pony Express then. Oh my God, could you imagine how many brain aneurysms the Postal Service would have if they couldn't use their automated sorters? Uh-oh. But then again, I would say the majority of jobs nowadays are teaching people to be lazier. Just like our school systems are teaching kids to be lazier. By the way, did you guys see the article about the San Francisco Board of Education? No?
I did not. No.
No, not me.
Well, they got kind of pissed that the board was not focusing on how do we educate our kids during the pandemic and the fact that they took a merit school and made it completely open to where it, because it was the best school in the San Francisco area, and they removed the merit base of it so that anybody could go into it, and they started saying, well, there has to be certain colors, you know, we have to meet a color diversity. And wouldn't you know it, most of the people who were there when it was merit based were Asian. Huh. Go figure. But the city got pissed, or the people of the city got pissed, and they called on, or they did a recall election. Now, as far as the board members go, there's a certain amount of time that they have to serve in their term before they can be put as part of a recall. But the 3 board members who were eligible were put up on the chopping block, and the lowest amount of voting them out, having a no confidence vote, was 73%. So all 3 of them got the boot. Because their big campaign, instead of focusing on education besides that division of that one school, was to start changing the names of schools. Like they wanted to get rid of like Abraham Lincoln Junior High School. They wanted the names of the schools to be more racially diversified. And no. Focus on the education, not what somebody named it, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago.
That's correct.
And why are you penalizing Asians? Because apparently they were brought up in the type of family nucleus that said, yes, you have to study. Yes, you have to get good grades in order to achieve shit. Why do they have to be kneecapped? I just don't get it. That right there is not focusing on race so much as focusing on ruining a meritocracy. And I don't really know where I fall politically, but I really do believe in a meritocracy. That, if you get those types of morals and principles that you only deserve what you get if you work hard enough to get it, then you deserve to have it. Now, yeah, there can be orbiting parents, pageant moms and shit, but by and large, I think our whole thing is you should be able to get what you've earned, not be given it. No silver platters, unless your family is incredibly filthy fucking rich, and you have bankrolls of money and you just throw money at it. That's a fuck it situation. But for the rest of us normal people, how about the sweat of my brow earns me my reward? If my heart rate goes up anymore, I'm going to have to go to the hospital. Okay. Well, that's kind of fucked up. Willie, are you on blood pressure medication? And good morning, Toya. I don't know. Have you guys ever had problems with high blood pressure?
Yes, but not like consistently. Like I've had moments where I had high blood pressure.
I've always been stable. I mean,
for
like
me,
62, 65 beats per minute, that kind of thing.
yeah. Well, usually mine is 120 over 80.
Well, that's your blood pressure.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
No, I'm talking about like heart rate.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't think I've ever actually paid any attention.
Oh, mine's rock solid. As far as my blood pressure goes, it's usually 120/60, and that's even after I've smoked a couple cigarettes. I don't know, but I got sidetracked there for a second. But I mean, what do you guys think? Are we way too late as far as being able to get back to a meritocracy? Did we get ruined in the 70s when they legislated quotas?
I think the big issue is primarily not even any of that. I think the root of the issue that's really caused all of this is either the absolute lack of teaching history or the poor implementation of teaching history. So, for example, I had obviously like, 3 history teachers when I was in school, right? I had and one of them I had like from middle school through high school. But anyway, 2 of them were really good at teaching history. They made it interesting and fun, and they just told the facts, the facts of what happened. They would, maybe wrap it in some kind of narrative, right, or story, but they or give little fun tidbits here and there, have us read from the book. And the one thing they never did was actually mention their moral views in respect to that. They never dragged morality into it. They didn't say like, look, we wiped out a bunch of Indians and we're evil because of it, or anything like that, or that action was bad. They just said this happened. Wounded Knee was a thing. Here's what happened with Custer, right? It wasn't any of that moral shit. And then I had one teacher who was an SJW before it was hip. And
It's never been hip.
right. And well, before that term even existed. And so she would do the opposite. All of her history lessons were wrapped around this weird moral thing where they would use it, like, so basically what they do is it's called what they're doing is a retroactively imposing 21st century morality onto a historical context, and then you can't do it. You can't be like, wow, today it is unethical to, I don't know, fucking tell somebody they have to be a slave and make them a slave and whip them and shit. But and they did it back then. So therefore back then was unethical. You can't do that. And that's nobody teaches that really in high school, or at least none of the good teachers or the bad teachers don't teach that. They don't teach that kind of divide that should always be kept. Like, whenever you look at history, you should always look at the context around what you're learning. And they never teach you. And like a lot of the really bad teachers today don't do that.
Dude, I wish I could find you that clip I saw a couple of weeks ago where, a kid was recording from his phone in a high school classroom. And the teacher was talking about socialism and how it works so well. And he said, well, excuse me, but when the Chinese killed like 45 million of their people for socialism, is that good too? And she just kind of looked at him. God damn, that was funny. It's like, yeah, contextually, let's figure this out. What you're trying to preach, you should not be preaching, because this is not a pulpit. This is an education classroom. I mean, I had one teacher, and he was very right wing. But he gave us extra credit if we wanted to read like Marx and then present a report on it and why we thought it was good or not good. And good morning, Gil. And he didn't agree with the Communist Manifesto, but he also was like, yeah, and if you want to read Mein Kampf, read that, but you're going to be quizzed on it. You're going to have to stand up in front of the class, say, this is the book I read, this is the impression that I got out of it. And people will be able to ask you questions about it. So don't just, gloss over it. Read it. Fucking read it. If you don't understand it, then try to figure it out by rereading it. Because I'm not going to give you my perspective on it, because I have a political belief about this. So I'm not going to share my politics with you. But I do want you to be able to formulate and postulate via your own political thoughts. Matter of fact, he was the one who got me in to be able to proxy vote, because I was going to be 18 at the end of the year, and my very first election, I got to vote for Reagan. See, you guys thought I was going to do a joke like Martin Van Buren, but no. But yeah, he was like, listen, you're studied up on this. Tell me about what you think about the candidates. And it's like, well, Carter sucks. He's thrown us into a period of inflation that's going to take years to dig out of. I don't like gas lines. I don't care if he's sinned in his heart. I don't give a crap about that. I want somebody who's going to bring our nation back. And he's like, do you really think Ronald Reagan can do it? And I was like, he can do a better job than what Carter did. And he was like, okay. And he helped me figure out to where I could proxy vote. All the way back in 1984. That was pretty fucking cool. And unlike you other schlubs out there, I actually did volunteer to help with the voting polls in 2020. They wanted me to do it in 2021, and I'm just like, are you fucking serious, man? Well, yeah, it's just local elections. And I was like, yeah. Do you have a bed that I can lay in? Is there like a horizontal volunteer spot that you guys want to put me at? Because I can't do it. I will do the midterms, though, this year. I will do the midterms. And I will also, but presidentially, I will always do those elections if I can.
I don't think that teachers should be teaching anything about politics whatsoever. Which I know is a really hot take, and I don't mean like not do it in the way that your teacher did it or whatever. What I mean is, I think they should be teaching critical thinking skills and how to find information and stuff like that, and how to validate information, and basically just leave the rest to you to figure out. Oh, and also, I think the most important thing that people should be teachers should be teaching is how to leave your morals at the door, or even more to the point, your empathy, right? Because like my big thing that I really hate the most is whenever people formulate a political opinion entirely based on how they feel about the particular political opinion.
Well, yeah, because if you're wearing a pussy hat, you're automatically in the right.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those things where it's like, what's a legitimate political opinion? Oh, like whether or not, I guess the discussion would be whether or not we should have trans rights. Okay, Well, that shouldn't be about morals or your feelings or anything like that. That should just be based. You could rationally have that discussion and justify it logically, or debunk it logically if that's at all possible. If that's what you want to do, right? It should be able to logically dissect that information without having to delve into weird emotional, personal attacks and other nonsense, right? And the same thing goes with just about anything. Like, if you can't explain to me why the Holocaust is bad for reasons other than either circular logic or some weird emotional bullshit, then I have no reason to listen to you. There's a large reason why it's bad, and I don't have to incorporate morals into it. Or my morals. I don't have to incorporate my emotions or my feelings into that discussion.
By the way, I've never really heard anybody mention with any fervor or any protests or anything like that, but Hitler, when he swept across Europe, he almost completely made the gypsies extinct.
Yeah.
I mean, he wiped out over 90% of the gypsies.
Mm-hmm.
And, nobody ever wants to talk about the plight of the gypsies. But good God, I mean, it's that whole thing with when they loaded up a freight liner with as many Jews as they could get onto it, and then they traveled over to the UK to seek asylum, and the UK turned them away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nobody talks about that either. There was some foul ass shit done, and it's just not. Oh well, they extinguished the life of however many millions of Jews. There were a lot other people getting killed. And one should not be more special than the other, and the whole reason for it is the exact same reason, that they basically needed something to whip up a fervor about. And there are many Germans who still, there are still some that are living who survived World War II that were just like, we were against it, but what the fuck could we do about it? Because we'd end up in camps. That old saying, when they came for the Jews, I said nothing. And then when they finally came for me, there was nobody left to stand up for me.
Right.
That's,
well, I mean, like,
good.
I would say, like, that right there is an example of a logical reason to claim that stuff like that is bad. Because logistically speaking, like, it's the same thing with, like, cancel culture, If you support one guy getting canceled, then you have to recognize that eventually that pendulum will swing back to you.
Yeah. That should be obvious, logical, deductive reasoning.
Yeah.
But it's not taught anymore.
And the other thing is, and this is like my favorite argument against the Holocaust, and I get called insensitive for it because, well, it doesn't take emotions into account, and that is that genocide doesn't work. Never in the history of time, ever, has anybody ever succeeded at exterminating an entire particular race. It's never fucking happened. In every single attempt that's ever been made, it's never been successful. So why even bother with it in the first place? And not only that, it's optically suicide. Like the moment you start doing that, it's just a losing battle. It's a losing battle because you won't succeed at it. And it's also a losing battle because other people, like a large group of the planet, is not going to let you succeed because deductively they're going to assume if they don't stop you, they're next. Like, I don't need all this weird layer of emotion and morality and empathy to come to that conclusion.
Well, and of course, I know we were talking a couple days about Malcolm X, and Malcolm X was really for an ethno state. He's like, if you don't want a race mix, you don't have to, and nobody has ever called him to the carpet for it. But the moment that somebody who's like, I'm pure white, I'm Aryan, I don't want a race mix. Oh, well, you're a racist then. It's like, you want to talk to some of the people in India about that? They're really not hip on race mixing either. It's all dependent upon point of view and how your feels are now. When it's like, no, that's not what it's about. Societally, logically, if you want to come to a certain opinion, you better be able to defend it rather than just saying my feels. That's what I feel. The one thing that really just started pissing me off until people started fighting back against it was CRT.
Yeah.
Because that is ridiculous as fuck. Well, white people got what white people got because of the fact of their skin. Well, no. I mean, Europeans were pretty much the dominators in technology and societal advancement. What was the one line from the Punisher where the Asian woman said, while you were in the fields screwing sheep, we were the warlords of Asia. That's exactly what it's about. People moving forward, trying to advance not their race, but their society and their culture.
And the problem is you could shift it, right? So there could easily be like an alternate reality where the opposite's true, where it was black people or Asian people or something like that, and then what? Are you gonna then say it was them? And is the white people now gonna be coming up with CRT instead? I mean, like the problem is that I ultimately have with it is, well, one, I will say that I need to actually sit down and study it in more depth, because one of the major issues that I have is there's so many differing definitions of what it is. Like, I've asked people, like, what the fuck is CRT, and and two different people give me four different answers.
Well, that's because a lot of the people who are like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, well, what is it then? That's a big problem. But I mean, here, let's do a racist example, ladies and gentlemen, shall we? The European culture gained in leaps and bounds, not only socially but technologically. And are we any better than the Saudis at the same time? At the Middle Easterners? Well, fuck yeah, we are. Because while they still preferred to ride camels, we were trying to figure out how to make boats and battleships to sail across the oceans. It's the thing. If you guys want to break it down to race, you'd be idiots. But if you want to break it down to culture and society, who were the people who were going out and exploring brave new worlds and finding new things to be able to be of not only financial but social benefit to their culture? Well,
the Asians came really close, though. Make this clear, like, they came really close. The problem is feudal issues, and isolationism, depending on which Asian culture we're talking about.
well, most Asian cultures didn't want to do nothing with it, didn't want to deal with anybody. I mean, fuck, they almost killed Marco Polo, but they decided, he was neat. Yeah, just let this silly guy. Yeah, here's something about our culture. Now go away. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia still has slavery. They actually they tried to justify it recently as indentured servitude, which is what happened with a lot of the Irish coming over to the brave new world of the U.S. But there were limits, and there was an actual court case with indentured servitude that if you signed a contract, that the contract could not be abridged without the agreement of both the servitor and the technically the property owner. I mean, there were black people that came over as indentured servants. I'm not talking about the ones that got sold from the continent of Africa, but those who came over from European countries that were black that entered into an indentured servitude and actually worked out their contract and they were free afterwards. Because really, if you followed the line of logic, there would have not been a single free black man in the New World by what everybody is pushing. They're like, oh yeah, they all came over as slaves. No, that's incorrect. There were quite a few of them sold into slavery, but at one given time, there were more people in indentured servitude than there were slaves. And that may be pedantic, splitting hairs, but those in indentured servitude back then legitimately had contracts. Whereas it's like, oh yeah, this tribe beat this tribe, now they're selling them to you. I really do think people need to go back and study this. Due diligence, you fuckers.
Well, what's really bothersome, however, is when people claim that, like in that documentary thing, that this is actually something that bothered me very deeply, honestly, is the idea that actually I got in an argument with somebody later and I quit talking to him. He went into a little bit more detail, and I don't know if he subscribes to the same logic, but this was certainly his. He was arguing that prior to 1699, I can't even remember the date anymore. Fuck. But prior to that, racism didn't exist, because racism, he defined it specifically as dividing people by alleged biological differences through race, right? And the problem with that is that is a version of racism. But if you go far enough back in time, like the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, and shit like that, like you're going to find racism still existed. But the issue is that racism back then was, so that instead of them defining race as being more of a biological difference through skin color, it was more of a difference through culture and through class, right? So whenever they saw, fucking black people from another country,
Saracens.
What?
Saracens.
Saracens. What does that have to do with
black soldiers?
Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. But the thing is, you can go back in time, look at Greek pottery, and you could find like extremely racist fucking pottery from back then. Like the Greeks basically invented fucking the 1940s, 1950s racist fucking pottery. All right, like it's some pretty fucked up shit. And so like you can look at medieval examples and how the medieval people they would use religion and base religious views on like so when they saw brown people they assumed they were Muslims, and like that kind of thing. And I mean that's still a form of racism. But just because they didn't incorporate biology into it doesn't mean it's not racist. And this is the fundamental issue with what appears to be a large part of CRT is that they define race in a very specific way that can only uniquely apply to one particular time in history, and that is anything after the 17th century forward. And that bothers me because I'm just like, because it's and in that documentary they specifically said that prior to that date, whenever the black people came over to the Americas, that they were indentured servants, and that the nobody was racist against black people yet. But the problem is that slaves had already, like, the Atlantic slave trade had already been going on for 200 fucking years prior to that particular moment. And you can't tell me that, like, it would be impossible for you to convince me that all these white slave owners back then did not view black people as slaves and did not look at them to be lesser because they were black and because they were slaves. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just out of my mind. But I don't know. I have difficulty believing that they bought slaves from Africa and treated them like equals.
No, they didn't, and I mean, most of Europe considered what they called the Dark Continent just a bunch of warlike, just a bunch of warlike. It wasn't done via race. It was like, oh, these motherfuckers are legitimately, all they want to do is try to fight and kill and take land over. So, yeah, they kind of gained a bad reputation.
Well, they were attributing skin color to their culture, you know.
Correct.
So
that's exactly what I'm
which
saying.
is, yeah, I mean but that's the thing that's been going on fucking forever.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the argument that I was having with this guy, and this guy was like, "No, that's not true."
Yeah, it's not the color of the skin, it's the society and the culture that they are practicing. And
Yeah, well,
a lot of people are just automatically, and you guys are pretty fucking shallow if you think this way, that it's just all about the color, because it's not. You really, that's like saying, well, somebody caught a cold because they got wet outside and then they came in and that's how they got a cold. No, that's not how it works, guys. There are definitely other factors that have something to do with that. You cannot
like
say it's just
massive
one thing.
cultural differences.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors. You know, like, don't get me wrong, the kind of racism that they're referring to back in the 17th century and the 18th century, and even the early 19th century, like the kind of racism that they're talking about there is a very particular and very specific form of racism. And you know what? I'll even grant that it was probably the worst.
But
I'm roboting, aren't I?
No, but it's
No, we can hear you.
But it's easier for people to make broad, sweeping generalizations.
Yeah.
Actually have to do some type of research or study.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, and that might have been the worst form of the worst form of racism. Fine, okay. However, the problem is that today we don't do that, right? Like, we don't treat people in the exact same, like black people in the same ways we did back then. And for some abstract reason, that's a hot take. Which is really insane to me. I see tons of YouTubers that are black that are making money hand over fist. I see tons of rappers making money hand over fist. I've seen a ton of actors making money hand over fist. I see, you know, people in Congress. In fact, a little fun tidbit here: 13% of Congress is black, which is proportionate to the percentage of black people in the country. You know, like I look at all of this and I'm just like, how are we treating black people in anywhere close to the same way as back then? right? Like, how is it that they don't have the same opportunity as everybody else? And you see, there's where the problem is. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about opportunity. Like what they're talking about, and the ultimate point that's being made here is equity, which is everybody should be on the same playing ground, because they're saying, like, well, we all have opportunity, the same opportunity, but not all of us have the same ability to reach our opportunity, right? And so we should all be on the same level playing ground, and that's actually a lie, because like, in of itself, that's bullshit. It's impossible to do.
Well,
Communism tried it. It failed. And it's failed in every single time. It's in every single implementation of it. And the other problem is, when you start doing that equity shit, you end up inevitably being racist.
well, I try to cite somebody an example like this. Say you're going in for brain surgery, and equity is involved. So there's the top surgeon in the world that works in that hospital. But no, we got to give the guy who has Tourette's, the shakes. You got to give him an equal shot at it. I know of no race, color, or creed that wouldn't jump up out of the bed and go, fuck no. I want that guy. Because that guy's most qualified. Oh, well, we've got to give this guy a turn. It's like, well, fuck it. Give somebody that turn. Because I don't want him. I mean, that's as rational an argument as what they're doing with equity right now. Because no, you don't deserve it just because you are a certain skin color, or you are a certain religion, or you have a certain sexual preference. No, that's not what it's about. And once again, I always have a tendency to fall back into the argument of a meritocracy. I want the best person possible to do that job for me. I want them to be able to provide that service for me.
Yeah, and it's not your fault if some black person that had the capability chose heroin instead, or crime instead, or having, or going to prison instead. Like, that's not your fault. And
well, how many generations, how many decades can a certain color of people be told, you're shit, you're no good, the man's just going to keep holding you down, there's no real reason for you to try to achieve, might as well go sling rock on the corner.
yeah,
that is a sad fucking statement. And we have people like Colin Powell and Ben Carson that are standing up. God, I forget what his last name is. The guy who ran for mayor in California, Larry Elder. Yeah, I think it's Larry Elder.
yeah, it is.
These are men who succeeded, and don't give me any shit about the whole poverty thing, because Ben Carson, if you've never read his biography, shut the fuck up and go read it. Or at least go on Wikipedia. Because you can succeed. It doesn't matter what color you are. But people are opening up doors to people who don't have that ambition or that drive. Like, oh, well, the government's paying for it, so I might as well go ahead and do it. And those people usually don't amount to much. But if you say, hey, you can have all this, you just got to work for it, then they're going to do it. Think how many, and I know this from experience, how many black mothers, if they've got a son that's like 14 or 15 years old and he's 6'2" and 240 pounds of muscle, they're not going to go, hey, you really need to hit those books so, you can get a degree in dentistry. They're like, oh, no, the easiest path is, play a sport. They're really shortchanging them because, once again, that whole teaching is, the only thing they see is that, black athletes are the ones who make bank. And they really do, but not for a long period of time. And usually they piss it away. And I'm talking about this is all colored athletes. They usually end up pissing it away. David Robinson used to play for the Spurs. He went to the Naval Academy. And the NBA wanted to draft him in his freshman year. And he told him, go fuck off because I'm going to get my degree first. So he did his 4 years at the Naval Academy, got himself a degree, and then he's like, okay, now I'm ready to play basketball. And people like Patrick Ewing, he got drafted right out of high school into the NBA. And I mean, besides living off, the fame of his name, he doesn't have dick to show for it. If he would have gone straight in and blown his knee out in the first season and been over and done with, he'd have just been another body murdered. Nothing. Destitute. There is no such thing as easy money anymore. And you really do have to have a fallback. Use your mind and not your body. Because, you can use them in concert. Those people usually end up to be a really good quarterback unless, it's Colin Kaepernick, then fuck you.
Like, here's the thing. I'm not against anybody going into sports at all, but if they're not smart enough to I don't know, get some fucking degree in something, that's okay. If they want to, and if they're really good at sports and they're stupid, I don't have anything against that, right? Like fucking who cares? That's kind of the cool thing about our republic is that you can be a total idiot and still succeed if you're athletic enough or if you're pretty enough.
Well, and that's the thing. These guys really, when they get to a highly competitive sports, they have to be smart. That's why everybody doesn't make it in to the NFL. Because of the fact that, if you're sitting down, like say you're a defensive tackle, you're going to have to learn 50 or 60 plays. You're going to have to study. You're going to have to hit the books. Nobody can do that for you. So that shows a bit of determination that, a lot of these kids, they really don't understand that you have to be well-rounded. Have good study habits. Earn your shit on merit. And I know this is becoming Addie saying, I hear pedantry. But the truisms are true because they're truthful. God damn.
Can you hear me?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I switched to my phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You sounded a little bit different.
Yeah, the Discord on my computer is completely unstable.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I want people, especially the younger generation, all these kids, and I think there is an awakening happening, and it's because of the wokeness that keeps telling all these kids that you're shit, you're disadvantaged, that you're not going to amount to anything, might as well give up and let mother government embrace you, and they're not going to get anywhere. And they're realizing that, and they're realizing it early enough. and they're seeking to take control of their lives. I'm not saying these kids are becoming conservatives, but they sure as shit understand that if I do my best and I try the hardest, that's going to give me the better potential to reap the bigger rewards. You know, so they're brushing off all this wokeness and all this bullshit. Some of them. There'll be others who want to be on the welfare like their mom was and like their grandma was. And before anybody says, "Oh, that's racist," no, I know a lot of white people, a lot of white trash that do that too. Let's say education don't mean shit. You don't get nowhere. Let me show you how to work the system. Let me show you how to get welfare and get a paycheck from the government. You don't have to do shit. You can just sit around in your wife beater and drink and smoke pot. Makes me sick. Turish,
Yes.
I don't want to rant no more on this.
Oh, definitely not. It's a sad. It's a topic that makes us sad. Just people, just knowing that there's people that have essentially given up on life and are figuring out. Best way I can say it is they're trying to figure out the best way that they can give up on life. And that ain't me. That's
Just say niggers already. Jesus Christ.
No, because you know, you gotta get those. You gotta get those white trailer park dwellers in there, and the people who are just crossing over the border with no skills whatsoever, because they smell the free money, and it's like, you know, really, sincerely, there's a strong family unit to be had. Even when you go to like South and Central America. But the people that are coming here are not exhibiting that at all. So we're getting their cast-offs. We're getting their stragglers. We're getting the people that don't want to. Or if they show up, they're actually working and sending money back. And they're perfectly content being common laborers because of the fact that, you know, maybe that was all that was available to them when they were down there. So why don't they go to a place where they can get free health care and, you know, free government assistance, make the money that they want and send it back down to make their families' lives better? They're basically taking advantage of a system that should not be taken advantage of. Because still, the United States is the greatest country in the world as far as providing an opportunity. If you want to take advantage of it, you certainly can. And there are many different ways to take advantage of it. But in order to achieve the maximum amount of success and the maximum amount of satisfaction, then you got to work the system right and not just try to work it over.
Yeah.
in America, you get a lot of opportunity and a lot of fun things to do in terms of options for raising family and for employment. Up here in Canada, it's not that bad either, but regardless of what's available, a lot of grit and elbow grease in, you know, forging your own path, figuring out where you want to work. Hell, even raising kids, because Lord, kids are effort.
Oh yeah, it's it's like, what are you good at? And that's where the nuclear family comes in. Because whatever your weakness is or your spouse's weakness, you guys are supposed to have each other's backs. So
Yeah.
if one does it better than the other, then yeah, there you go. I got you, honey. You know, you do that thing. And I do this really well, so I'll do this thing. And together, we're going to raise a kid or kids that aren't fucked up, that actually believe that they've got a chance to succeed whatever they want to succeed in. Now,
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
I was say, well, the people that I've been with, they constantly complained about how strict I was. So never really worked out like a unit.
Yeah, sometimes. The hardest job I still say is it's not a firefighter, it's not a cop, it's a parent. Because you are legitimately affecting somebody for the rest of their damn lives.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's a responsibility that you even had half a doubt on, then maybe you shouldn't do it. You know, because my dad was a piece of shit, and he was gone from our lives before I was even in nursery school or preschool. Well, they call it preschool back then. He was gone, and my mom had to do everything by herself, and there were times when it was rough. And it was a hard way to go, and I saw that, and I respect single parents because, I mean, she did have food stamps because she had siblings, or because she had children. Sorry, and that's nothing that she wanted to be on. She was embarrassed. Welfare to her was embarrassing as hell. And nowadays, it's like pretty sparkly jewelry to single parents. They're like, oh yeah, the government owes me because I'm a single parent. It's like, well, wait a minute, why are you a single parent? Are you having illegitimate children, or was it something like where you were in a marriage, the marriage failed, or like your spouse died? I can see that. It used to be, when you would go to get on welfare, you had to go to the police station to do it. Because it was a form of emergency assistance. It wasn't set up to last forever.
That's true.
But now, more and more, it's being set up.
Remember
where...
when? Remember when food stamps was literal stamps?
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. I mean, because I many times I went through the line with my mom, and she would have the food stamps underneath her cash or her check, and she would kind of try to just subtly hand them off so nobody else could see them, but she couldn't have survived any other way. And it was meant to be, I honestly believe this. It was meant to be more humiliating than helpful. It's like, see, everybody else is looking at you. Now it's like the standard of, whipping out my EBT card, And it's like, no, you can't be proud of this. Because this is not something that you should have had, it's not your right since birth to get a SNAP card. This is something that's supposed to help you until you're over that hump and you can get gainfully employed, that you can take care of business. And you know what? If you got 2 kids and you're raising them all by yourself, then have a fucking brain in your head and don't have a third or a fourth or a fifth one. They actually have kicked up that you can get another check. And what is it? I think it's like $300 per child in the household. You can get an extra $300 for a relief check.
Ooh. Damn.
There are other rules because when I called in to get my SNAP eligibility stuff going, they legit. I'm like, what's this cash assistance thing? It's like, what, do you have kids? No. So what is this cash assistance thing? And they're like, oh, you can get $300 per child that lives in your household. And we'll be able to issue those out within the next 2 months. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, if I didn't put a little nut aside, then I'd be like really pissed about that. But once again, that feels like encouragement to me. Encouragement to not do your best, encouragement to not pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Well, I think the major thing is that it keeps people addicted to the state, you know?
Well, sure. Like, I always refer back to the TV show Babylon 5. Anytime they find somebody with psychic abilities, they'd bring them into what was called the Psi Corps. And the motto for the Psi Corps is Core is mother, core is father. That's what it feels like. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why socialism won't work. Fascism will work for a time, longer than socialism.
You know, the only form of socialism that I think ever worked at all, which I don't think is technically even communism, or at least not a Marxist view of communism, would be like Native American culture, you know? Like where everything is the communities kind of thing. Like that's kind of what they did. I mean, it worked, but their communities weren't very big. Like trying to make a whole country like that is not gonna work.
Well, and once again, regardless of what anybody says, because they're still stuck with that 70s commercial with the Indian crying about the trash on the roadside. The Native Americans were a fucking warring nation. Didn't make a difference which one it was. There were no peaceful ones. You know why? Because they all got killed. Any of them that tried to be peaceful, they got wiped the fuck out. So, yeah. There you go.
Well, I mean, even then, like even when they were warring each other, they were joining white men to war against competing tribes.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like what's the difference?
Yeah, that happened. But once again, it's revisionist history via my feels. I don't care what color you are. You do the crime, you do the time. And if you get killed because you're doing something stupid, raping, robbing, murdering, trying to
Eating.
trying to deprive people of a decent life, then yeah, if you die, oh, too bad. Boo-hoo. You done fucked up and you done paid the ultimate price.
Like I get called all sorts of names because I say shit like I don't give a fuck about the Native Americans. You know, they're lucky. Like they actually lucked out. They got the ultimate luck. The ones that remained anyway. Like forever now, for you know, and probably until the end of the country, they're going to be raking in that dough. Well, the ones that choose to, anyway.
Well, you know, that's probably one of the reasons why my grandmother married herself a white man. Who knows? Speculation. One of those things that we never really talked about.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's really funny. Is like, though, if you look at the statistics, you know, if of who just who makes the most in EBT and all, and or government assistance in general, right? You would find that the ones that make them like overall that make the most is fucking white people, right?
Yeah.
However, if you look at who gets the most in any like by community, right? So if you look at the amount of white people like proportionally get government assistance versus Native Americans proportionally, you'll find that Native Americans get more government assistance than any one particular community
Oh yeah.
proportionately.
But
So, and, like something I read was like 30% of Native Americans are on government assistance, and like I think it was like 27% of white people are on it, and 28% of black. So, shit like that.
well, and then again, it's one of those things that white people are being cajoled or cudgeled into giving up. Where you know, because how many of these SJWs, especially these dumbasses in power like Pelosi, want to drive down white people? They're like, oh well, they've had their time, so now it's somebody else's time. And it's like, well, they're still technically like the majority. So, what is it? How can you basically justify whose time is over, and did it ever start, and who deserves to be the fitting successor? Because honestly, I just don't want people like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi to even be anywhere near the corridors of power, because they're fucking idiots. They really don't represent anybody except their careers. I think when you get to a certain age that you shouldn't be allowed to serve in Congress anymore. I think you need to pass a lucidity test. And if you don't pass, you can't run.
I had this discussion in a live stream not too long ago. Actually, funny enough, I said that there should be an age cap, where like once you get past like let's say 50 years old, you can't run ever again for anything.
Dude, we have a president now that walks around like he's wearing adult diapers.
I know. That's kind of the point. You know, like, but the reason why is because whenever you have like one particular generation, like just like look how long the boomers have basically just ruled politics. It's been going on forever. And look, that wouldn't necessarily be a problem if it weren't for the fact that technological advancement is something that just seems to fly right the fuck over their head. You know, like they're not sitting there watching anything that's going on social media. They have no fucking clue what's going on. Like whenever Trump got canceled, you know, by social media, it was hilarious because everybody in Congress was like, "Oh my god, this never happened before," but it happened like fucking 3 or 4 times prior to him, like multiple times, but to multiple people, and they didn't know this, and then whenever they dragged fucking Zuckerberg on the stand or to Congress and asked him questions, they didn't ask him the right questions because they didn't know the right information.
Well, that's also part of the part that they were actually just speaking to a simulacron. It wasn't the real Zuckerberg. It was one of his robots. Oh, yeah, but it's just mind-boggling to me because like it's like, yeah, these guys shouldn't be there. And then there's this other guy. What's this? I can't remember his fucking name in like half the time. He's on Fox now and has his own show.
I can never remember his fucking name, but anyway, he was in doing the Benghazi hearings and would frequently say, "Oh, and this person found the text feature on their cellular telephone," and I'm just sitting here like, dude. If you say that, that's like you saying that is cringe. Are you saying you don't know how to use your cellular telephone or how to text? Like most of these guys don't. They're not even the ones handling their fucking social media accounts. They got some younger person doing it. Like the point is it's like, yeah, that they shouldn't be there. They have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, there should be a basic grasp of things, and if not, there should be people around teaching them.
Right? It's just, yeah, but that's the point. Like, I think after a certain age, you just should not be running for any office. Like, you can collect your pension and you can do whatever. Like, let them have early retirement at like 50 or something. Yeah, like 50 years old. They can retire at 50. It's fine, right? Just give them that perk. But man, like this shit of having like some 89-year-old fucking president is just fucking insanity.
I'm pretty much of the thought because. You go Congress or Senate, doesn't make a difference which one. If you do one term, you automatically have a pension. You don't have to work a certain amount of years to get a pension.
I thought you did.
Nope. Just like, the president is going to get his money if he serves one term or two terms. They're given lifetime health care, so the mirror's cracked. So
yeah. And
welcome back, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, everybody.
How was your spam?
Oh, and another thing. Oh,
well,
spam.
I mean, obviously it was fantastic because it's fried spam.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear.
But I have a communist thing to say that I think would be awesome. Socialize fucking political ads. Meaning it's completely bought and paid for by the taxpayer. There is none of this fucking... And whatever budget they get is the budget they get. There is absolutely no fucking... reason to get any donations because there's no reason to, because you don't get... Because it's against the law. And you don't get any benefit anyway. Because all your shit is advertised.
Okay, Vlad, I have a question.
What?
I see where you're going, and I don't necessarily disagree, but then the question becomes, how many different people running for office are you going to finance?
I mean,
what? 200 people decide to run for president and none of them you've ever heard of except for two. You're going to give them the same money as whoever the Republicans and whoever the Democrats want?
No. So, I mean, first off, isn't there isn't there like a provision? Like, I don't think like you can just run for office in the first place.
Well, any of us could run for president if we wanted to, as long as we met the qualifications. But I mean, it's not like anyone would ever know we ran.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is too is like the other thing I was thinking was that you don't even make the ad, and it's just boring information on a fucking screen. Here's this guy. Here's what he did and didn't do, and here's what I mean, like something like that. I haven't actually quite figured this out yet entirely. Just a thought I had in the moment.
I think you should figure it out and then do a stream rant about it.
But it's just one of these things where I think there are elements that are bad. I think being able to, I think the pay to win system is really bad. I think it's a fundamental. I think it creates a absolute negative to our political system.
Well, ever since they took the restraints off PACs, it's fucked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I had some other idea too, where you get paid nothing. Where they like there was one idea I had where like if you want to be president or you want to be fucking Congress or some shit like that, you don't make a fucking cent. Everything's paid for though. Like you get your room and board, your food, your water, and all that shit like you do normally anyway. But
what if the first wife wants a $20,000 evening gown?
Doesn't matter. Like they don't. You get nothing. You get like basically you get treated the same as like some fucking how a minister at a church was supposed to be. You get basically.
Okay, so the president has some meeting with another world leader, and he's wearing a suit from TJ Maxx.
Why not?
I'm not sure if I want. I'm not sure if I want that to be the representation of my country.
He can have his own damn suit, right? The whole point is that the idea of paying, like you shouldn't. I really don't think you should be paid money like while you were there. Like maybe get paid a pension afterwards, but I don't think that while you were there, money should even be a point of consideration.
Well,
most of those guys don't make any money anyway.
Dude, it used to be in the Senate or Congress that 90% of the representatives held a second job. They only came in for sessions and then, back to the grind. Now, that's not the case anymore. It is a small minority that actually works a second job because they're getting paid.
I'm going to throw out an alternative idea. I think that when you're talking about national offices, they should be paid more, and they should be paid that much for the rest of their life, under the condition that it is no longer legal for them to work for any company that is contracted to the government. And if they want to write a book, they can't make any money off of it.
Yes.
Actually, no. My idea was easier because the reason I was saying take away any monetary benefit while in office is so that you can seize their fucking basic bank accounts while they're in office. And so if anybody learns that all of a sudden they make a cent or a dollar, because I would want them to be constantly audited, right? If they make any actual money beyond that, they're automatically tried for treason. Or not treason, sorry, corruption. Like basically just make it to where they can not only you're basically being punished for being president. It is not supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be glamorous. You are basically what?
Addy,
Yes, sir.
If what you say came to pass, we would never have this great inspirational book. I put it in the general.
God. See, I haven't even seen that. Is that a Photoshop? Like of that picture there? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
It has to be Photoshopped.
Here's the second printing of it.
Yeah, the first one, I've never seen him actually grab a bitch's boobs.
He generally tries to reserve it for little girls.
Right. But no, I mean, like, all I'm getting at is, like, I don't know, again, like, I haven't thought it that far through yet, but ultimately, like, I just think it's stupid that you can go into office, you can basically be middle class and come out fucking filthy rich. Yeah. That's insane.
Oh, you mean like Obama, who's now worth over $100 million?
Yes. Like, it's crazy. Like, it should not... This should not be a way for you to become wealthy at all.
You're correct.
Oh,
No,
It's supposed to be
I
government service.
agree. I agree because all of the ways that ex-presidents become rich, regardless of party, that's the payments for innocent or influence that people have bought.
Yeah.
I think congressional members should be paid like the military, because then that would show who actually really wants to do the job.
Oh no, I actually they kind of are like the official payment to a president is kind of lame, right? Like
What is it, like 250 or 300,000 or something like that?
it's not very high.
I mean, I
Um,
take it. I wouldn't.
I
I'd
mean,
take the pay. I wouldn't take the job.
I mean, I guess it's good given that everything else is paid for so during those 4 years, and I mean, I guess, but actually, no. It's annual is 400K annually. But I mean, like, I think doesn't it? How much does a general make?
Not that much. But Fauci makes more than all of them, including the president.
Yeah, but Fauci is science.
No, a general can make up to 520K a year.
Why? The generals are the worst part of our military.
Right? Well, no, because that last one, he wrote a really good book, Addy. It was called Treason and How I Got Away with It.
By the way, do you like the other book that I put in the general?
Oh God. I like that one.
But apparently, oh God, wait a minute. Oh shit.
Another scratch and sniff book.
yeah,
Oh my God.
it's the nuance that makes it really good.
But Addy, did you notice that I'm a bigot now?
I always thought you were.
Oh, okay.
Part of your charm.
Right, right.
That's
Now,
it.
by
I mean, I'm called a lot worse than that on a regular basis online. So whatever.
I don't know.
Really? Seriously? Was this an actual Time magazine cover? Let me post that up.
But
Yes, that was.
By the way, Doc, I think that kid's book. First of all, you should no context tweet it, and second of all, notice how the little girl is already smart enough to cover her breasts.
But yes, that was actually a Time magazine. I remember a lot of YouTubers bashing that cover.
And it's sad because I sent my meme off and I got no reaction from the President of the United States.
I was trying to get banned by Ukraine.
And I guess that didn't go well.
They didn't ban me. I was upset.
I mean, they may have other more immediate concerns at the moment.
Dude, why don't you tell them that? They're over here fucking tweeting and trying to cancel Russia's Twitter account instead of fighting.
oh yeah, the people that I'm around on Facebook. Oh wait a minute, I'm old. On the Facebook, are trying to get the cancel Russia meme rolling, and it's just like, what the fuck? You guys are dumber than shit.
I think I even tweeted something about it. I don't even remember. I said something on the lines of, shouldn't you be focusing more on defending your country than trying to cancel a fucking YouTube or Twitter account? You know, because like it's just insane. And then they were also shit posting and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you could spend more time fighting and less time tweeting, and you might actually win.
The thing that I'm still trying to figure out is one of the major news agencies reported that the Russians had made it into Kiev, and I'm looking at Maiden Square right now, and there ain't shit going on. What narrative is big media trying to push?
Big media always likes wars, better ratings.
Oh, I did see nukes being rolled into the Ukraine. That was interesting.
What would that possibly accomplish?
I don't know, but that's what happened. It's on video.
Well, I mean, Russia's nukes don't need to be closer to anything. They can hit the middle of the U.S. from Russia. So, yeah,
Well,
a couple hundred miles of where they park them doesn't really make a difference.
Well,
Vlad,
I think I know why.
Vlad, are you sure that it was a radiation sticker and not a Mr. Yuck sticker?
No, all I'm saying is I think they did that specifically so that it would get spread around on social media. I think it was very on purpose.
Whatever, rots from God solves all of these problems.
Well,
Yeah.
And what was it, Tourist? You caught the one where they were trying to say that this is the Russians invading, but it was like a factory explosion. That was a few years ago.
Oh yeah, the what, Belarus, or I don't remember where it was, but that port explosion, that was just some dumb yuck.
That was Beirut.
Well, all of that's just going to get worse for us because of technology. Everything is going to be fake videos from everywhere.
Well, I mean, yeah, somebody's going to try to capitalize and become incendiary, but the only thing they're really looking for is to get more likes and retweets. I mean, it's the same garbage that in the early days of Facebook, and it still happens. You know, like, here's a girl who was burned in a fire, and she needs 1,000 prayers so that God will, take care of her. And it's like, no, because I actually, every time I see that thing, it pisses me off, because I'm like, no, if you guys actually reverse Google image search it, it's a kid who had a skin condition that its skin would actually peel off. And so it looked pretty bad. But it's like, no, this kid was not burned. God's not going to come down and save the kid. It's going to be you either survive or you don't.
Look,
you don't have a direct line to Jesus because you're with 1,000 other dumbasses who decided to retweet it or repost. Because that's not what they do on the Facebook.
I mean, it's your fault. It's your fault for being on Facebook, which is even worse than Twitter.
Oh yeah, but see, Facebook runs at a little bit of a slower and dumber pace, so I'm okay with that. Although, I will say this: you want to hear something sad? Every so often, when I'm feeling down, I will go back and reread the messages that were shared between me and my mom. And she's been dead. She's been dead for over 3 years, but I don't know. I find some comfort in it. So yeah, the slow-moving nature and the slow-minded nature of Facebook still kind of appeals to me. Unlike Twitter, which is just complete, total garbage. So yeah, Twitter, if you're listening, you still haven't kicked me off yet for the Putin George Floyd meme. Come on, step it up.
That was some of your best work.
I've done less and got suspended on fucking Twitter. But
It only took them 84 years to make it.
Yeah, well, fuck it. You cannot rush art.
I mean, you could, but then it would just be Russian.
Well, yeah, because
Tish.
the one who beat me to it just threw down a flag and had just a cropped head. I wanted to pick a very nice, creepy, smirking Putin look, and I actually did put the country underneath his knee, and then I had Joe Biden leading in, and I actually the two word balloons. Yeah, I did the shit part, but the actual first word balloon was from his speech, warning Russia. The dumb cunt. And yeah, traffic's still going back and forth. I'm watching on that quadruple cam. I don't see any tanks rolling in. There are not a lot of pedestrians, like last night. But yeah, I mean, wake me when the shooting starts. I do.
Let me know when you reach Ukraine.
I do like the fact that they're when they were interviewing NATO, fucking hilarious, talking about how they're like, so will NATO intervene? Well, we're shoring up the borders, so just in case they try some type of insurgence into a NATO country, then we will be prepared for them. And then the next reporter, so is NATO going to intervene? And it was like literally the exact same answer the guy gave. And it's like, guys, were you not listening to the other one when he asked pretty much the exact same goddamn question? By the way, I am looking forward to, once the stream's over, Dave Grohl makes his appearance on Hot Ones.
Nice. I gotta go to bed because I'm having trouble keeping my eyes open.
I think we all need to go to bed. It's like 5 o'clock. Yeah, we need to end this shit. I mean, 3 hours?
We'll be to Quebec.
Oh, fuck you. Give fuck the.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Oh, this country's fucked up.
We hate Quebecers. They're more than we can
That reminds
stand.
me, Church, now that we're a few more days into it, is Trudeau managing to cover up his crimes and misdeeds because of Putin yet?
No, he's not covering his shit up. There's a few. Excuse me. There's a few scheduled committee meetings that are going to investigate what he did and see if it was necessary. But yeah, he's getting away.
By the way, I have no
Trudeau's
idea.
getting away clean with this, but I don't think it's going to help the party.
By the way, I have no idea how to pronounce whatever the hell that name is in the chat, so I'm just simply going to say good morning. Who said I triggered every white trash baby killer in the U.S. government? It was easy. I ID'd a CIA guy on Little St. James Island.
Isn't Little
And then-
St. James Island one of the guy who suicided himself theoretically in jail?
Epstein?
Epstein? Yeah.
I no fucking clue, but
Pretty sure it was.
that was it's definitely not topical, and I'm sure you probably would have got a laugh on that one about 8 or 9 months ago. So sorry about that, dude.
Buzz.
Oh, hey, Buzz. Buzz, it's very nice to see you. Good morning. And my rant was like the first hour of the show. So, if you want to hear that one, I was gonna play a Saturday Night Live clip just to piss people off because I knew they'd DMCA me. I knew I'd get out from under it, but nah, I don't care. Let it go, let it flow. Church, I don't mean to hold you longer than you need to be held.
That's all right.
Well, anyway, Trudeau 2043. Yeah.
God.
Well, wait. Oh no, yeah, he's got 3 kids that he gave shitty names to.
I don't care what the name of his kids are. Just God.
Well, I mean,
No,
one of those could conceivably run and maybe be the first transgender prime minister. Because the way that he's doing it, those kids are going to be fucked up for life.
I mean, God, it is Trudeau.
Yeah. The apple fell very far from the tree.
So far. I would
Oh,
say
please.
more, but
That wasn't even his father. We all know.
he.
Yeah, you're right. They really didn't look alike.
His mom was a whore, and he looks like Castro. Surprise, surprise.
Was that when they were signing the Peace of Ass Treaty?
Oh, his mother was a notorious whore. I can't remember who she was, which band she was hanging around Studio 54 with.
When the Village People. No, it might have been
yeah.
the Village People. Who knows?
I have no energy right now.
Yeah.
So I'm terribly sorry to leave on like this somber, well, I guess a somber tourish, but
That is quite all right. You do what you need to, my friend, and we will keep you in our thoughts and prayers, just like we are for the people who are getting shot at right now in Kiev. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Go to bed.
okay.
Good night, tourists.
Good night.
Good night, Turish.
Bye.
Should we do a version of O Canada before we wrap this up, or
No.
is there more talking that needs to be done? By the way, I did want to ask you two, what did you think of my version of the timeline?
I missed part of it because at the beginning of your stream, I was kind of dozing in and out, which isn't commentary on your stream. It was just the reality of life.
Things happen for a reason, Addy.
So I'll probably have to go back and rewatch your beginning.
Vlad, did you listen to any of it?
Yeah, I missed like the super duper beginning of it, but I mean, when I got in, you were still talking about how you and him used to be pals.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think I really missed much of your side at all.
Well, except for mine was, chronologically correct and didn't leave out anything.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is like, I think I came in just in time because like when I went in at first, I saw that the music was playing, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go play Call of Duty until this is over. And I come back 10 minutes later, and it started. So,
Oh. Usually those horrible songs last for more than 10 minutes at the beginning of one of Doc's streams.
No, actually, I only made it. It was less than 4 minutes, with 2 songs. I did Real Big Fish, another FU song, and Motorhead, No Class. And then I was right into it. Because I really didn't know how long I could last. My constitution has always been in question recently. And I wanted to make sure because I felt lucid.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing you forgot. You never did a panel question this whole time.
I know. I really couldn't think of one. I mean,
Huh.
my brain was just not focused. I mean, I really actually could have said, well, of the people that I listed in the Deadpool, who do you think's got the biggest chance to win?
I do.
You're not in the Deadpool.
I know. I win by default.
I don't know. You're a lot more likely to be killed than the rest of us.
Yeah.
Only if I go to Kansas City. That's about it. As long as I stay in white trailer trash neighborhoods, I'll be fine.
Well, I'll be dead, but my money's still on Harley.
Oh,
On
that's
her
right.
first?
Yeah, she'll definitely outlive the rest of us.
I mean, because she's the youngest of us, too. So she got that going for her.
Look, no, she's not. She's older than I am.
You're not in the Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
No matter how much you want to be, you're just not that cool.
I mean, I'm okay with this. That just means I win by default. However,
If it makes you feel better, Vlad, I'm sure there's plenty of other people who wish you dead.
Oh, there's a lot. But I will say, though, that if I ever decide to be Jewish, I'm going to have my name changed to Oliver Ovenstein.
Oh, God.
What?
You people and what you consider jokes. Just, old man.
Oh, screw you. That was funny. Oliver Ovenstein? Come on.
I would have picked like Moisha Ovenstein.
Eh.
Something a little more Uden.
But, no, as far as Harley winning the Deadpool, I guess that completely depends upon, whether or not she survives an inevitable car wreck with Yoda driving.
Death by T-Bone.
Yep.
Aw, T-Bone.
That could happen. Look at his driving record. Or that we know of, I should say.
I'm sorry, I'm getting lost in the minutia of Biden memes, and a shit ton of them are just not funny. Oh wait, that one's good. And good art too. Here. I'll put that in the general. And for those of you who are not part of the ward, sorry about your damn luck.
Damn, the customer service has really gone downhill here, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What is this, a McDonald's?
But
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe someday, I'll open up the ward again. I'll throw a.
What do you mean?
It's not closed, but if I'm accepting new applicants, then I will usually throw you out the link. I used to drop it in like a 24-hour link if you guys wanted to come in. But nope, not going to throw out an open link because we are winding down. By the way, do you think they'll be able to knock out their internet services before they actually invade?
They've already actually invaded. What are you talking about?
I mean, the places where they're actually doing the world cam stuff.
I just hope Coach Red Pill is one of the casualties.
Why?
Didn't
Because
somebody... Go ahead.
yeah. Oh, he's apparently in Kiev.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why do you say yeah? Like, does he have a history of not being where he claims to be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't like him.
I mean, no, I don't. I'm not saying I like him either, but we do need people on the ground, Addy.
Not him.
Why not?
You mean
I don't know.
You mean like stack the bodies like cordwood?
Look,
Funny's
it's a win.
Bunny's
in my
close. Why don't we send her there?
As the objectively more pragmatic person here, I have to say that it's a win-win, really. He's there, and we'll either get interesting footage of him probably running away screaming, or he'll die. And either way, it's a win-win.
Dude, I've met the guy in person, and I don't want to know where he parked his panel van full of candy. I mean, he was creepy. It was like out of all those people that I met down in Arksville, I saw the unshaven, unkempt Red Pill, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to go up and meet him, because then I'd kind of have to shake his hand or something.
I mean, when someone strikes you as strange and unsettling when you're in the same room as Ethan Ralph, that says something.
Yeah. And I mean, Ethan Ralph's butt was eating 2 chairs. And if that doesn't make you unsettled, or if there's something there that makes you more unsettled. But whatever. At least I got to meet Buzz in person. And I got to meet Stalvin. And T-Tac. And
Didn't you also meet Tennessee Marine?
no, TM. I don't think TM was even actually at the fight.
He was drunk.
Nah, well, I'm pretty sure he wasn't at the fight, or he would have staggered up and not gone away from Worski, and where
Dude.
and where the 3 of us, well, the 4 of us were sitting there talking. We were just like 5 or 6 feet away from Worski, so I'm sure if Tennessee hadn't staggered in to see him, he would have already been there hanging on.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, at that time, I don't think Tennessee Marine was very much a fan of Worski. Although, don't quote me on that. It's just what sounds familiar.
At that time, he didn't even know any of this was going on till after, because he was drunk.
Well, he ended up at the same bar where everybody else ended up, because I mean, fucking Merc was blowing up my text with, "Oh man, you got to come here. We're sitting here doing shots with Worski and hey, Tennessee Marines here, and blah blah blah." And I'm like, no. We went to the first place where they were supposed to meet, and it was a really nice restaurant. So we just decided to have pulled pork sandwiches.
Did Merc end it with his usual line? Let me see if I can get a hold of
Sargon?
Sargon.
No.
Oh my god.
No, but he did pick up Tennessee Marine like a little kid.
Oh, Buzz said he met Tennessee Marine.
Wait a minute. Buzz, were you? Was this at the show or was this at the bar? Oh, he said after the fight. But was it before or after?
God, I wouldn't be bragging about any of this. I'd be embarrassed to even talk about it.
Why? I mean, at the time I was getting along with my brother, and even though I mean, I already had the fucking bus ticket bought, so
Because like, it's just like that whole thing was so fucking dumb. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I can't even wrap my head around that entire concept of like, one, that was apparently in people's mind ever actually going to happen, which in of itself was insanely laughable. Like, if you honestly thought Tonka was going to show up, you're fucking insane. Okay, that was never going to happen. People who talk the biggest game never would. Okay. Secondly, and then more than that, I would never fucking talk about actually fucking being at the location where somebody never showed up, and because I believed that that fight was ever going to happen. I'd be embarrassed of ever thinking that was ever going to be a thing.
well, your firstly and secondly were like kind of the same point.
Well, no, there was a slight divergence there.
Yeah, very. Same.
Yeah, the difference was, you know, I'd be embarrassed or I would be insane if I thought that was ever actually going to happen. And then point two was I'd be embarrassed of ever admitting that I ever thought that was going to happen.
Dude, I was one of the first people that actually said it to fucking Tonka's face on his stream and to Worski on Addy's stream that I didn't think this fight was going to happen at all, but that's okay because my older brother lives in Knoxville and it gave me the opportunity to come down and visit him because like nobody from the family had come down to visit him yet in his new digs and his new life. So, firstly, I didn't give a shit if the fight didn't go off. And secondly, same thing that Buzz was saying. I was down there to meet some people, and it was nice to meet people. And thirdly, you know, I got to do Mr. Medicare cosplay because that really fucked with people. Some people actually thought Medicare was there. I'm like, yeah, Medicare's going to run around in his 4 out of 5 star hat with the red shirt. No, you dumbasses. And good morning to Harlequin's Happy Hour. And once again, the Schutzstaffel is on submission. You know, Harley, if you didn't have a real life, I would say feel free to come on in, but you actually do have a real life.
Unlike Addy.
Uh-huh.
I'm productively working as we speak. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I tell you what, though, Buzz, if I ever do get the chance, if I get my fucking car seaworthy, I'll travel down and see you. I got a circuit that I can run down there with the people that I know in Tennessee. One of them, sadly, not Tennessee Marine.
Could you imagine drinking with him?
No,
with Tennessee Marine?
No, I can, and that's why I probably won't.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it'd be nice to hang around people sober, and then getting mildly buzzed, but there's no mildly buzzed. It's straight to hammered. But he was good to speak with. I interviewed him for Doctor on Call, And he was sober all the way through it. I wasn't, but he was. Because my show, I don't have to be sober. And honestly, when I'm interviewing people, it kind of takes the edge off. So when I'm interviewing like some big time IRL celeb, it definitely does take the edge off, and I'm not nervous to interview them. See, I knew she was getting ready for work.
Stalker.
Work, 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 work.
She's not a Girl Scout, Doc. Put it away.
I'll be getting me some cookies. I tell you that shit. Although you guys are gonna severely mess it up, I need to actually take a look and see. Wait a minute. Let's go to my folder. I actually bookmarked it. Trying to figure out. There was somebody like 10 miles away, and I'm like, I'm not traveling 10 miles for fucking Girl Scout cookies. Jesus Christ. No, we go by date, not by distance, because I didn't know where that other fucking one was. Okay. Oh, it's still at. Are they just doing it at the Holy Angels the whole goddamn time? Oh shit! It's 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
I don't even know what you're talking about. But what I do know is Addie will be happy to note that Nick Fuentes is trending.
Why?
Did he finally come out and tell the world what everyone already knew?
No, he did not come out of the closet.
Apparently, Fleckus Talks just put up. Well, they put up This Week in Culture, so I'll have to go watch that. But
He accidentally praised Hitler.
But with their
That's why.
What?
Yeah. I guess he at some conference accidentally slipped up and praised Hitler about something, and then said, "I shouldn't have said that."
So he's on the downhill slide, a la where Milo Yiannopoulos was 3 years ago.
Man,
I don't know if it's not bad. I'm listening to it now.
Was that a motherfucker who got tossed away quick or what?
Who, Milo?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm no expert in these things, but it seems to me if you only have one shtick, you can only play it out for so long, and then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he said they're going off about the Ukrainians, and they're going off about how Putin is Hitler, and then like kind of sarcastically said like something to the effect of as if that's not a good thing or whatever, implying that it is a good thing that he's like Hitler. And then said he shouldn't have said that.
Well, they can't. They can't cancel him.
Did I ever tell you all that the only reason I ended up in this ghetto is because of Milo?
No, but that's not my fault.
How?
I found Milo, and because of Milo, I found Sargon, and because of Sargon, I found Irate Bear, and then all the rest of you.
Well, wait, he's Irate Alex now, right?
He's always Bear to me, but yes.
Okay. I just saw one pop up that he put up like 3 days ago or something. I'll have to go take a look at it. Once again, old man bookmarking things. But yeah, I haven't seen any content from him in a while, and I saw that come up, and I'm like,
Who, Irate?
Yeah.
He makes fewer videos that are very, very involved, and they're not like anything in this neighborhood. They're more, I don't know how to describe them, but they're not this.
They're less tangy.
What the fuck? That guy in the chat wrote, "I didn't know that every Black American was a homosexual rapist until I got a job at a prison." I don't know if that's supposed to be a joke or if he's serious. I mean, it's somewhere between cringe and chuckly.
Well, if it doesn't happen, or if it happens in jail, it's not considered homosexuality. It's considered a necessity.
Right.
Well, I mean, that applies to bars too.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Does for me.
Well. Actually, Harley, the first hour was where I went into the explanation of the timeline. But doxers did not come up at all. They did not rise from the dead, so to speak. That was a conversation that I buried. I was just talking about one guy. Well, yeah, there are only like 2 other people that are involved, and one's off the internet now, and one I don't even know what the fuck Optic's doing now.
Oh, and by the way, I meant to say this earlier and totally forgot. I'm not saying that anybody shouldn't brag about going to Tennessee or anything. I was just talking about myself.
The state that you live in, Tennessee, would be an improvement, unless you know.
What? You're insane. Are you serious? No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't. No.
Well,
Tennessee's a fucking shithole. What are you talking about?
Well, unless you're going to go to like, I don't know, like visit Graceland, you're taking your life into your own hands at that point.
I mean, like, Tennessee's actually just Missouri with more white trash.
Yeah, but better ribs.
I don't know. Kansas City Masterpiece is great barbecue sauce.
Not as good as Jack Daniels.
I disagree. Jack Daniels is decent barbecue sauce, but Kansas City Masterpiece is better. It's got more of a tang to it.
Harley, from what I hear, there are a lot of special men that live in Tennessee, and by special I mean yes, helmets. Because the last thing you'd want to do is date some guy who gets T-boned.
Yeah, it's better to date somebody who gets sirloined.
Oh man, when's the dad stream again?
I am way too tired.
Oh yeah, blame it on that.
I don't. No, I mean, I'm not blaming it on that. I'm just making excuses. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's still placing blame. Well, yeah, I didn't mean you, Buzz. Yeah, you got your shit together. By the way, weren't we winding down? There's like 14 fucking people. Go to bed, you motherfuckers. Well, I mean, if you're on the left coast, then, yeah, it's only rolling up on 4. So, yeah, you fuckers should be in bed.
I've never heard that before, the left coast.
Oh, yeah, I've always called it that. And it just, I mean...
It fits.
Maybe it's scary prediction. I'm no Miss Cleo, but... yeah, East Coast, yeah, you guys should be waking up, getting your fucking coffee, getting ready to do whatever you need to do on a Saturday.
Maybe a few cremations.
No, she's doing a funeral.
Tomato. Oh, wait, that's West Coast I'm thinking of. Ooh.
Oh.
I just had a failed Boy Scout moment. Jesus Christ.
Wait a minute. What the...
Are you talking about the molestation? Do you want to talk about it now?
Well,
I'm gonna kill you. Yeah.
3/4. I didn't fucking stutter, so of course you heard me. Don't try to fuck with me in the DMs. If you want to come fuck with me, you know where the door is. Ah. I have no idea what to do or why I need to do it.
He's going to church. That's blasphemy.
Wait a minute, isn't that like Seventh Day Adventist? Don't they
Just go to the
church?
church
Or
and tell all the.
or is it Christ for Latter-day Saints?
Those are Mormon.
But don't they go on Saturdays?
I don't. I'm not a Mormon.
Well, then. Yes, I said that. Why the hell are you spelling it out to me, 3/4? And you have to spell out dick? Okay, well, yeah, whatever. That's fine. Somebody come get this boy. He needs the love of a good woman and some guidance.
And airbags.
And maybe
Especially side airbag.
I don't know, man. His car almost sounds like Kit. That fucking thing talks all the time. Makes more beeps and boops than R2-D2. Ah. Oh, man. It was nice, though. Getting that off my chest. I will say that. And I did say, you know, one more time, I'm going to have to address it. But fucking 3 streams in a row? Jesus Christ. Then again, I guess if people are desperate enough to fish for content, they'll fucking find it. Whereas we have a whole fucking world where we can talk about anything.
Yeah, I don't even understand like why he went off on you in his stream today. Anyway, it was kind of random.
My whole thing was it was hinted or intonated that I had some responsibility in Irate's death. And I'm like, no, that's number one, called being old, and number two, I mean, maybe the healthcare system could have helped him out a little bit better.
Mm.
That's not for me to judge. But yeah, I mean, Irate and I were not on friendly terms, but we weren't combative. Like, you know, I'm going to get you, blah, 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 anything like that. No, I mean, and I had fun in the DMs. And I was talking to Uzi at the same time. And I had even more fun in the DMs talking to her. So, yeah. That kind of leap of logic just kind of befuddled me. See, I was... Damn, I was going to make a mugshot joke, but I'm not. I'm not gonna. But I do have to call you into question, Harley. Giant? See how I did that?
Right. Oh, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm dying.
Yeah, I think it's about time. It's almost 10 till 6 here. And I think I'm gonna watch a little and I do really I really do like the Fleckus Talks when he does this week in culture. Not so much his podcast. His podcast is kind of meh. But then again, he's not talking during this week in culture. He's just putting all the clips from the week together that got media attention, whether it's on the left or on the right. And then you get the chance to watch it, and every so often he sneaks something cute in there to make sure you don't Epstein yourself. So, gentlemen, does anybody have anything that they would like to promote?
Yeah. Go to fucking youtube.com/gildedpoo. There you go. Boom. Got it. There. Done. Promoted.
And then if you don't find it there, try to find him on Rumble somewhere.
Actually, it's also rumble.com/gildedpoo.
Ah.
Yeah. I'd say my Twitter was that, but it's not anymore.
Wait, who the hell was mugging for the camera? Oh, Buzz, I'm really tired. I don't understand that one. And Addie, of course, you'll be. Oh shit, I forget. What is it? You'll be appearing at the Sands. Every show's different from the last. Make sure.
I will hopefully be taking a prolonged nap in a few hours, and that's the extent of my plans in life.
Yeah, it's like his fourth nap today.
Well, whatever. Losers kept me awake all night.
I can't say I'm one of those because I'm a winner.
Winning.
Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who was in the stream this evening. Of course, everybody who was in the chat. You're just as important to us because sometimes you help keep us focused, sometimes not. But we certainly appreciate you being here. And of course, you know what? I'll try it. And for the best in bootleg Miniature merchandise. See, I can't do it. I forget it. It's been such a long time. Oh, wait. For the finest in bootleg Miniature merchandise, check out Doc Griffin's TeePublic Store. That's right. Doc Griffin's TeePublic Store. Featuring shirts and other stuff. So, stop by Doc Griffin's TeePublic Store and buy something. Damn it. So thanks, everybody, for stopping out. And until I figure out a good closing again, please make sure if there's somebody in your life that you love, take the time to tell them, because time could happen when you need to and they're not around any longer. So there's my hippie. Good night, everybody. Hey, just on